What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, your post-game edition after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall in heartbreaking fashion to the Dallas Cowboys, 26-24. Now the Atlanta Falcons are in control of the NFC South. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. How do we start off this show? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense with Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. And I guess we're just going to get out to the phone calls because I kind of know where Bucs fans are going to go. They didn't play like a playoff team tonight. They did fight it until the end, but too many turnovers. We talked about it. Turn your radio down. Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, it's Bucs Basement.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh well, I hopefully I'm gonna get my Christmas wish this year. I wish for a new head coach, so I hope I'm gonna get my wish because aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of Todd Bowles' teams never being prepared for anything, for the primetime games? This was literally the Broncos game again. You look at this team as inferior to the Cowboys, just like you looked at the Broncos, and they punched you in the mouth, and you were not able to capitalize on anything. We lost by 2 points, and Todd Bowles' atrocious game management in the first half literally aided the Cowboys to score 3 points. So you do the math. We lost by 2. He helped the Cowboys get 3 points in the first half.
It's a good point, but I don't think this is all on Todd Bowles, but yeah, he's definitely going to share some blame here, but you can't turn over the football, right? And we always say, we love Baker Mayfield. We love what he can do and what he can provide, but there's times there where you throw the ball in that situation. McMillan has to make a play, and we'll get out to the phone lines here. I'm talking to Bucs Basement. I thought McMillan had it. And it's just a case of the Dallas defense all night long wanting it more. You're exactly right. The Bucs did play down to
coaching.
Well, that's definitely fair, but it's also an execution too. You call a 4th and 3 there. I get it's early in the game, but Shepard has to catch that pass. He has to catch it. He's wide open. He doesn't make that play. You're exactly right. Did they come out flat? Yes. They also met a Dallas team that obviously is playing for their coach, even though they're not playing for anything. And then on top of it, you have the turnover situation. And I thought McMillan had it. Dallas defender takes it away from him there. And then also at the end, Rachaad White holding the ball there, trying to get a couple extra yards. The ball is pulled out. And that was the game right there. I mean, it kind of, you thought the Bucs would get a turnover with Russell, and he couldn't do it. So
here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You can't allow this head coach to keep going when he gave Cooper Rush a career game. How many mediocre backup quarterbacks is Todd Bowles' defense going to give career games? This has happened multiple times throughout Todd Bowles' career as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach.
I mean, who do you want to replace him with? Who do you want to replace him with, Bucs?
Cohen. I take Cohen.
Okay.
I would take Cohen, and I would have Cohen pick his own defense, because I'm tired of Todd Bowles. And on top of that, everybody keeps saying that Todd Bowles has tough decisions to make this year because they said that defensive coaches, some of them need to go. For example, pass rush. My God, we have none. So are we really looking at Todd Bowles? If Cohen gets poached, for example, if we have to do Canales 2.0, are you really expecting Todd Bowles to not only fire his defensive play callers, all his coaches, and also get rid of the offensive-minded people, because they'll go with Cohen?
Yeah.
So now he's going to have to find all that. Or would it be better to finally have continuity on the offense, which we haven't had in 3 years, and keep Cohen and keep Baker and keep this offense gelling, and just get rid of the defense, which is clearly the weakness of the team?
Well, let me go ahead and just express right now, though, that if anyone out there, and it doesn't sound like Buck Basement here does, it's probably old enough. I don't know how old you are. I'm not trying to offend you saying you're too young, too old. But if we're using the precedent of 2002, when Tony Dungy, we take him out of town with a defense that he had basically built a championship defense and brought in John Gruden. Don't forget, if we're looking at 2024 and trying to compare or make parallels, Uncle Monty Kiffin's not going to be staying here. So if you get rid of Todd Bowles, this defense is going to go through an entire rebuild, which I get.
That's fine.
And okay. I want to also caution you that, with that being said, you got rid of Lovie Smith, and I get it. Maybe they're not the same, but it is somewhat of the same, because Dirk Cutter was also thought of having the offensive continuity with Jameis Winston. You didn't have that defensive aspect. He was over his head, and that blew up in your face. So, again, I get the frustration.
Yeah,
I understand that. But here's a coach, once again, who's, won NFC South championships. I get it. The team may –
in a trash division.
But it's still a division. You still got to win that division.
You got to play the games.
You still got to win the division. Did they not win one game last year against the Philadelphia Eagles? Did you not forget that?
that team was on a suicide
It doesn't
dive.
matter. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles in a trash division.
And in Detroit. But go ahead and don't forget that you even heard Chris saying tonight there on the broadcast that there's not a team in the NFL that really wants to see the Bucs in the playoffs. The difference is after tonight's game with the Falcons now even with us and owning the tiebreaker, it's not a guarantee we're there. 49% chance now of winning that division and making the 2024 postseason.
And it could have been a 90. That just shows you coaching. It's just like this team for some reason. Whenever the highlight, whenever you're like, okay, this is your go moment. This is like this is like the moment.
Yeah.
This is what happens. They crap the bed. That's on coaching. It happens all the time. What happened last year? Remember, we had to wait till the final week to win the division because Todd Bowles, for some reason, had an awful plan against the Saints, and we got our asses handed to us.
Well, you were 4-7, and you made a run. I get that. You won 9 last year, and you have an opportunity to win 10, but you're exactly right. Penalty situation doesn't help. The turnover situation doesn't help. Bucs basement, I definitely feel the frustration at this point. I'm just not sure if this is all on Todd Bowles. It's definitely on the players. It's definitely on execution. I know a lot of Bucs fans don't want to hear that because the simple thing is just to fire Todd Bowles, just to fire him like he's nothing at this point. And I don't necessarily think that's the answer. We'll see. We'll see what shakes out and what this team does and how they respond because still they have an opportunity here. If they beat the Carolina Panthers next week and the Atlanta Falcons lose to the Washington Commanders on Sunday Night Football, that's certainly possible, then we're definitely having a different conversation. Anything else?
Yeah, but this didn't need to happen. Why do we have to depend on other people to control our destiny when we're
because it's no friggin' logic. It's the NFL. This is how it goes. It's not just Todd Bowles. It's any team. At the end of the day, we talked about it at the beginning of this show.
Also, the Panthers is not going to be a walk. They look good.
Well,
and they play hard.
They play hard, and they definitely gave Todd Bowles.
So I hope to God they don't overlook the Panthers because we went to overtime with them, and they should have won the last game because they got touchdowns robbed, and that kicker couldn't kick a field goal to save his life. So
I agree.
They got lucky in that game.
I agree, man. And listen, this is not the way I wanted to come on here on a cool night live at Ferg's.
Man. I'm sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry.
No,
use your
be
second
proud.
call. Come with the passion. Listen, Bucs Basement. You're a part of not only of the JP Peterson Show, which we're in collaboration with, but you're a part of the Sports Web. We say 3 things. Do you know what those 3 things are, my friend?
No.
Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Go ahead and say it. It'll make you feel better because we'll have a show tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So say it. Go ahead.
What am I saying? Oh, bring the passion, bring the fire.
Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense.
All right.
There you go.
You guys have a good night.
Brother, you too.
Right.
Merry Christmas too.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Merry Christmas. All right.
That was the passion.
He brought the passion. Open phone lines after the Bucs fall 26-24 now at 8-7. I see somebody calling in. Call the phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I mean, there's some key plays in this game, but say whatever you want to about a Todd Bowles coach team, right? Maybe not necessarily ready in that first half, also in that third quarter. I don't know why it takes this team's offense, which it was the offense tonight. This was not all on the defense. It was the offense. Finally, you get the hurry up there. What was it? 9 plays, 87 yards. You get a touchdown to Ryan Miller, but it's a hurry up deal where you wear that defense out by Dallas, but you give the Cowboys credit because you look at the numbers. Sacks allowed. I told you I was concerned about this matchup, and it wasn't just Micah Parsons, but he was a part of this. 4 sacks, and whether it was Tristan Wirfs hurt or whether Baker was running into sacks or just the pressure was there all night long. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy.
But I can tell you right now, Pete, that if it's the difference between the Bucs winning the division and facing another first-place schedule in 2025, or the Falcons sneaking up in there. The fact that, again, I go back to the first quarter, the Bucs' first drive, it's 4th and 3 from midfield.
Yeah.
And we go for it. Analytics say you should have got it. The Todd Bowles, a coach team says you punt them deep and you make them still go the distance because you don't want to give them momentum. So right there, you're talking about he made a mistake.
Right.
This team needed to be bitch slapped tonight because if they want to go far in the postseason, not just make the first round as a first-place team and then bounce out and have to face a first-place schedule in 2025, I'd rather finish in second place and not make the playoffs and learn the lessons this year because I'm all about making it. It's not just about the next game.
Well, let's go out to Hawaii here. Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from? We're live here after the Bucs lose in heartbreaking fashion against the Dallas Cowboys. Go.
Hello, Peter. My name is Lucas.
Oh, what's going on, Lucas? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Lucas.
I'm good. I'm stationed in Hawaii right now with my girlfriend.
Wow. Okay. All
Thank you
right.
for your service, Lucas.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your service. First time you called this show before?
Yeah, I've been watching. My name's actually Virgin Boys. I don't know how to change it on YouTube, so I just left it.
You're the one that did the. You're the one that got the YouTube super chats, man. We appreciate that YouTube subscriber. So go ahead, man. What's on your mind tonight?
I would just say I understand what the last guy was saying. I think he was basically trying to say, would you rather keep Bulls or Cohen if you had to keep one?
Ooh.
And I think most of the fans would rather keep Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
But Bulls has had a lot of injuries, but it's just especially it doesn't help that we're 0-4 in primetime games. So every time the rest of the league and country is watching, we just
8-11. Yeah, 8-11. It was not good. They sleepwalked to the first half. They get down 10-0. You're down 13-7. You're down 20-7. You finally get a touchdown on the board. I mean, and listen, that's not on Todd Bowles and his defense. That's on. No, they didn't. That's on the Bucs offense. I thought the offense tonight was not good. I thought Baker felt pressure, and I felt, as impressive as it was of that performance last week versus the Chargers, 40-17. There was some play calls tonight, and I think it's not just, the play calls. It's also the penalty situation when you're in 2nd and 15.
Well, they were only calling the penalties for one team. Let's be honest.
Well, and
they weren't calling them against Dallas, but they sure found every single one the Bucs committed.
It's certainly an opportunity, a couple opportunities where the Bucs have the ball at the Dallas 26-yard line, and then it's self-destruct Bucs. You fumble the ball, you're lucky to get the ball back because they ruled that the Dallas defender was out of bounds. But at that point, you just can't live like that. Like, I'm going to steal Alex Golish's line, the coach of USF. We can't live like that. That seemed what the Bucs did all night long. They lived in that 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15, shooting themselves in the foot. Is that on coaching? Yes, to a certain degree. That's also on players, and it's also on, trying to protect the ball. Rachaad White, he's been known to put that ball out there like a loaf of bread, and got it taken away. But at the end of the day, you also just tip your hat to that Dallas defense, which, by the way, at the end of the game was gassed.
They get paid,
but are still able to make plays when they want, and they're still able to make those plays because they want it more than the Bucs wanted it tonight. Is that fair?
Yes. I would guess the only question I really would ask you guys, if we miss the playoffs, would you rather keep Cohen or Bowles? Because I guess I think this front office really wants to keep Cohen.
Well, listen, I think there's a way. A lot of Bucs fans are saying you either keep one or the other. I think there's certainly a way where the Glazers say, you know what, because he is such a hot commodity, and there's no guarantee that he's going to take the first job. Because I'll go back to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson being a hot commodity offensive coordinator for the Lions, and everybody assumed he was just going to take the first job, and he didn't. He stayed with the Lions. So there may be some type of conversations in the back there to keep Cohen as an assistant head coach, or maybe a plan, because there has been talk of Todd Bowles possibly retiring here in the next couple of years. And maybe that is your head coach in waiting.
Yes.
But I'm just not ready to sit here and say, he's
Todd Bowles
gone,
has
he's
go.
leaving.
In fact, I don't think there's a way that Todd Bowles doesn't get fired if the Bucs don't make the playoffs. And I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, Lucas, and here's my answer to your question. It was a great question, by the way. It's going to be what Jason Light, he's got his finger on the pulse of his team, and he's going to think if all 53 guys that are in the locker room, that they're buying into keeping Cohen and letting Bowles go, 100%. But again, they're in the locker room. We're not, right? We get close, but we're not actually there. If Jason Light at the end of the day realizes that Todd Bowles is still your coach and keeps the passion of this team, then they're going to have to either figure out a way to keep Cohen, or he may get down the road, because at the end of the day, the GM has to make that call, because he definitely has the blood. He definitely has the rhythm of this team, if you will.
And let me ask you here, Lucas, are you resigned to the fact of getting rid of Todd Bowles in favor of Liam Cohen, or are you thinking, that you keep Todd Bowles? Because I think he also deserves some credit with all the injuries this year to the offensive side of the ball and also the defensive side of the ball, especially the defensive side of the ball. Because remember, and again, it's not an excuse. It is the National Football League. Guys got to step up, next man up mentality. But you're playing without Antoine Winfield Jr. You're playing without Jordan Whitehead. For the majority of the year, Kalijah Kancey was hurt. Yaya Diaby. Middle linebacker has been definitely a big-time problem. Whether there's a healthy guy or not, Levante David playing his ass off tonight. Russell nearly having an interception, but that has been a weak spot? Are you resigned to the fact of, firing Todd Bowles to keep Liam Cohen, or do you have faith in this organization and Jason Light and the Glazers that they have a plan going forward?
I'm actually fine with keeping Bowles because of all the injuries. I just don't like the fact of if a crappy team offers Liam a head coach job and he takes it. I just don't know if Todd Bowles will be able to hit on an offensive coordinator 3 years in a row.
And what if
That's
it's
my biggest concern?
That's tough.
And what if it's the Saints? What if the Saints bring him in?
Well, don't
the
say
Saints
it.
bring in Cohen,
Don't
Dallas up there in North Carolina.
Definitely don't say it because
Raheem
the
Morris,
Saints
the former Buccaneer head coach in Atlanta. I mean, isn't that crazy? But think about it. I mean, let's be honest. Lucas, can we at least agree to disagree or agree to agree that the fact that the NFC South is no longer the worst division in the entire league?
And I think everybody's saying that. Look, it's it's easy to say that with the records and everything at the end of the day. But again, it is the National Football League, which means not for long. So anybody can beat anybody. We saw that last year. And whether you want to say Philadelphia was a downtrodden team, they didn't have the momentum, you still kick their ass. You still beat Jalen Hurts in that team. You still beat the Philadelphia Eagles at Raymond James Stadium. And you're only a couple plays away. I mean, it's that close. That's how the NFL is. You go back to this game tonight. You're only a couple plays away. What if Jalen McMillan, snares that ball away from that Dallas defender? It's a tremendous throw. We're talking about getting a touchdown there. What if White doesn't fumble the ball?
We're a few plays away in the Ravens game. We're a few plays away in the Niners game. We're a few plays away in the overtime Chiefs game. Right. They went all the way down the field. The truth of the matter is, Lucas already said that he's open to the keeping Todd Bowles because of the injuries. So I'm glad we had this call, my friend, and I hope you, again, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service,
Merry
Lucas.
Christmas
Anything
to you, Lucas.
else here on the Evolution, my friend?
No, I'll just say thanks for doing what you guys do. I love watching the show.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. Use that second call. All the way from Hawaii. North Carolina, Virginia, California, Costa Rica, international. You got to love it. Thanks a lot for your service once again, and use that second call if you want to, my friend. All right?
Thank you, guys.
All right, good stuff. Again, it's a heartbreaking loss, and you're going to look back at it and say, listen, the Bucs had an opportunity to win this game if they can't get out of their own way, but they couldn't get out of their own way tonight. I mean, you look at the third down efficiency. Bucs 7 for 13. Dallas 5 for 15. Bucs defense did a better job in that second half. You go through the numbers there. You give up a field goal. Once again in the third quarter, it's 26-14. Chase McLaughlin matches it with a 45-yarder, so it's 26-17. And then, as we talked about, Ryan Miller there, 9-play, 87-yard drive. The defense is doubling on Mike Evans. Ryan Miller wide open, some big-time runs by Baker Mayfield tonight. But I go back to that drive, and you remember this, where the Bucs have it, first down, Dallas 26, and then it all falls apart.
That seems to be where they lost. That was in the second half.
Yeah.
Except for the last 3 minutes and the stop, and they get the touchdown. That was where you realized.
That's okay.
This is probably not going to happen.
Yes.
Because the bounces weren't going their way tonight, even though they kind of were. Wow, this microphone.
Well, no, it's just the wire. Just tap on it a little bit.
Just hold on to it.
Yeah, just hold on.
But I mean, to me, it also goes back to the fact that you did. Early on, they just believed. I think they believed the hype. The funny thing is, as we were all worried about this Buccaneers team trying to prove their worth on national TV on a primetime game, and I go back to, so many years ago, it seemed like today they got a little cute and they believed in everything. We just went and rocked the Chargers, and then Dallas was like, we just got eliminated. This is our Super Bowl, and guess what? McCarthy's got his job for at least another season. You saw that in the smile that guy was wearing at the end of the game, and I guess hats off to you, Coach.
And I thought there were definitely some missed calls in this game, namely the pass interference early, where clearly he pulls a Michael Irvin, and he pushes him in the back, and they call, holding on Zion McCollum. It should be offsetting penalties. I mean, there were a couple instances tonight, but again, this Bucs team is able to come back. They never quit. They never gave up. They got the ball. I had people, texting me saying that it's over with. Yeah, the game is over with. Vita Vea, with all people saying Todd Bowles did a bad job. How about the scheme there where he has Vita Vea meet the tight end Ferguson?
He pulled a Elijah Cansey.
Yeah,
you see that?
And it comes right out, makes the tackle there because he broke a tackle. Looks like he broke the tackle from the defender. Is going to get that first down. Here comes big Vita Vea right there. So, again, everybody wants to fire Todd Bowles. I get the frustration. I understand you may not like him as a person or how he's aggressive or how he prepares this team. I mean, at this point, let me look to you and we'll open the phone lines once again. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Live here at Ferg's. It's the Sports Web. Bucs fall in heartbreaking fashion. Now the Atlanta Falcons control their own destiny.
I hate the sound of that sentence.
Yeah, but you got an opportunity. You got to take care of your business and hope for the Commanders. And Commanders, that you would think they would have an advantage.
They
in that
have
game.
to have a reason to play. That's my
Yep.
first thing I'm going to be doing first thing in the morning. I'll be up at 3 a.m. trying to figure out, okay, the Commanders have to win this game.
Huh?
That's what time it is. Wait till you're my age.
It's 12 o'clock right now. Yeah, right. Yeah, everybody. All right, and we got plenty of people watching. So, I mean, I guess I'm looking to you here. Is the solution to this problem if they don't make the playoffs? Let's see, playoffs. You don't make the playoffs at this point. Is Todd Bowles gone?
No,
I don't think so either.
I mean, again, I gotta leave it to Jason. If Jason Light looks to that locker room and he realizes the magnificence that is Liam Cohen, if he gets out of that locker room, he stands to lose 27 of the 53, which goes over the medium mark, if you will. Then I think Jason Light's going to make that call. But at the end of the day, almost beat the Ravens, almost beat the Niners, almost beat the Chiefs. I know they're all almost
beat the Falcons twice.
But oh God, no! Since you put it that way, fire that son of a.
Right. All right. Let's go ahead and continue to read the comments here. Late night after once again the Bucs fall in heartbreaking fashion against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, again, salute to them. Player statistics for the night: Baker Mayfield 31 for 43, 304, 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception there. Talk about that play, because when you saw it, I thought McMillan had it.
Yeah,
I thought he snared it. And then they get into a scuffle there, and the defender pulls it out.
He rolled over on it and carried it, and so he had possession.
Took it away.
Now, it was literally so close that if they would have initially called it a touchdown or an incomplete, I don't know if they'd have saw enough to overturn it, but definitively the defender's hand had more possession of the ball than McMillan did. So at the end of the day, the initial call was he got it, and they went with it. And the same thing happened on a turnover later in the game. I credit with the strip. Credit to Cowboys. That defense was playing. Dan Quinn was a defensive coordinator last season. Now he's in Washington. And Zimmer's now their defensive coordinator.
Credit to him. Hats off to him. Zimmer's a hell of a defensive coordinator. Maybe not necessarily the best coach because he got the opportunity. And again, maybe Todd Bowles has done a hell of a job. Maybe he's not the coach going forward, but I'm not ready to give up on him, and I'm not ready to give up on him because I don't think it's necessarily you're going to lose Liam Cohen. I get he's a high-price commodity here around the National Football League, but maybe there is a plan. That's why I say relax, Bucs fans. There's still 2 games left. We'll see how it works out, but now they don't control their own destiny. It's on the Atlanta Falcons.
If the way this offense, the way Bowles went for it on 4th and 3 early, the way this offense played like they were owed something, the way this defense allowed that Dallas team to move up and down the field.
Yeah. If
this was the reality check they needed, I'd rather do this than win the division at 7-10 and then lose in the first round. And we're facing a first place schedule again in 2025. Guys, first place in 2024 got us the Ravens, the Eagles. I mean, look at the murderer's row we played. Now, I'm not saying second place is all coming up roses,
right?
But at the end of the day, if it's a team that barely makes it,
just got to get
a reality check, you got to get in. But I'm saying if this team needed a wake-up call and we couldn't go 8, 9, 10, 11, I know you want to make comparisons to 2020, but this team, the way they're wired and the way the NFL is today, I didn't see that happening.
No, Cooper Rush, 26 or 35, 292, 1 touchdown. I mean, for the majority of the night, had plenty of time to throw the ball. Nearly threw an interception there to Russell, but Russell couldn't secure it. No running game, as we talked about. CD Lamb early, 7 catches for 105 yards. Again, I thought the defense did a hell of a job in that second half. They got some stops. The offense didn't do enough. That's what it comes down, and that's not just on Todd Bowles now, guys.
No,
that's on your golden boy.
I'm 100% positive
Cohen.
Todd Bowles has nothing to do with calling that offense, and I'm not sure if Jason Light didn't call down and tell him to go for it on 4th and 3. There again, Todd Bowles at midfield. They already got the field goal.
Yeah.
You gave them nothing all night. The Buccaneers did nothing but got out of their own way. They didn't, and they handed momentum over to the Cowboys.
I just feel like they wanted to go for it. He wants to be more aggressive. I'm okay with that. You just have to make the play. It comes down to execution.
No, I get it.
It's wide open. Shepard has to make the play. If he makes that play, Todd Bowles is a genius. He went for it on the first drive, and it gave this team momentum.
But you don't tell me that when Dallas drove right down and got a field goal, something inside you went, oh, this Dallas team came prepared to play. So
Yeah.
let's go for it on 4th and 3 with the 49 to 51% chance we don't get it and give them the ball midfield instead of trying to pin them deep and maybe making them drive. That's Buccaneer ball.
What curse for primetime games? Do you agree with
That's
that? That's what Tim
100%.
says.
Tim is
All
right.
A good call there. Let's go out to Virgin Boys. Of course, he just called in there. Oh, the phone lines, if you guys want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I hope we lose, so we fire Bulls.
Ouch.
Cam says fire White and then Bulls. I mean, look at go back to the White play there. First, Baker looks like he's going to be sacked.
That was crazy.
Maybe take that sack
I
at
think
that
he
point
was in
and then
possession.
try to make a play.
I think he was actually in the grass for like a minute and a half or a second
Right.
there.
And then
They
he
still let
flips
him
the
do
ball
flip.
off to
Yeah.
White. White holds it out like he always does.
Well, but then he brought it in
Brought
as
it
he
in.
went and brought it down, and the guy went for the strip. It
Yep.
was still a
Got
great
it.
play by the Dallas team. Give Dallas credit. They won this game more
Yes.
than the Bucs lost it, but the Bucs didn't help themselves at all.
Definitely defensively all night long. Darren Bland, I mean, he was on Mike Evans. By the way, that was one of our keys to the game.
Yeah.
That's on Cohen. You can't just get the ball. What was it? One time to Mike Evans. You got to get him involved with it. And finally, it was later on in the fourth quarter there with Mike Evans catching a
did
pass.
He get his 84 yards, though?
69 yards. Five catches for 69 yards. Jalen McMillan stepped up.
He's 92 yards a game the last two games.
One
now.
touchdown, 5 catches. Definitely this team was hurt by Cade Otton tonight. You have to agree, right?
Yeah, Payne Durham. Well, it didn't help that Baker tried to lead Payne into a concussion that would have taken him into the new year. But I mean, yeah, Payne Durham.
Big time hits tonight. Big time hits.
Dallas
by the
brought
Dallas.
it.
Yes.
I mean, again, they
Yes.
won this game.
Yes.
So I mean, as much as we want to say the world is falling, fire Bulls because Atlanta's back in control. If that's the way it's supposed to be, it's not because the Bucs lost tonight. We wanted them to win. Nobody wanted them more than you and I did.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, Dallas won this game. Let's just keep our eyes on the prize. Let's take care of the first game, the next game in front of us, and let's just really Atlanta. It's a big ask. I didn't want to curse them by saying this, but going into Washington, and
Yes.
beating those Commanders right now that still have a reason to play. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to say it, but if the Falcons win that game handily and the Bucs don't win out or the last two, they won the division. They deserve it.
That's it.
But we got to go and get it. We got to work for that.
And you have to look back at those games that you lost earlier on in the season. They may come back to haunt you. And I hate to say
Those
that.
two
I hate
Falcons
that
games.
narrative and I hate foreshadowing, but the Bucs have themselves to blame. And it is definitely on the defense. It's definitely on Todd Bowles, but it's also on the situations and situational football where you have to win those close games, and
Division
you're not
games
able
especially.
able to win it. All right, make White and Rolls have to walk home. Okay. Bucks were so close that they were. Fire Bulls. Cam is on one tonight. Madden coach suggestions could have called a better game than Bulls on defense. I mean, ask the Jets how that worked out when it came to Madden ratings, not trading for somebody because of Madden ratings. You got to be kidding me. That's how you know you're terrible. Yeah, come on.
Woody Johnson's son said, hey, this guy's Madden ratings are a bit low.
Because the Madden ratings are so accurate all the time. They got Mike Evans at 90 for the last 4 years.
They
Ridiculous.
fixed that this year.
Yeah, well, they should have fixed it. It should be like 95, 96, or 99 by now.
Ooh.
Look at that. People coming by. You got to love that. You didn't even think there were going to be people coming by. And
There's people out
plenty
there,
of people out there.
But they had guns.
I can't see this team beating Carolina. Your thoughts on that comment? The loss of confidence with this team,
Again,
Carolina?
It goes back to if they don't earn the right to get there,
Sure.
I'm going to go, well, they didn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
And I know I'm always saying, guys, girls, enjoy the journey as much as the destination because you could get all the way to the NFC Championship game, lose by a bad call by an official.
Sure.
Saints, Rams. There
were plenty of bad calls tonight that you could have gone.
There were a lot of
and
calls
forth.
that you should have got back. But at the end of the day, make them earn it. So, I mean, as much as I want to have Ajita and be like the sky is falling, and it is a little bit, but Christmas is coming up Wednesday. It's a great time of the year. And this Bucs team, I'll tell you this, as much as I always say the team that scores the most will probably win. If the Buccaneers are in the postseason in 2024, they'll have earned it.
Yeah.
And so, just take that to heart.
And I want to read this from Andy Finlay.
Andy,
who
yes,
is
on the other
over
side.
and
The other side of the pond.
Scotland.
Yes.
He says, so we were beaten by 2 points. Now that extra field goal we gave them because Bulls clock management at the end of the first, which is what Bucs Basement has said,
Yes.
allowed them 48 seconds to go on the field, actually cost us the game. The two 50-50 moments are ridiculous as well. White should never be in at that time, let alone start the effing game.
Andy, well, no, he did not.
Yes, he said that. Yes, he was
He
upset.
brought the passion.
He was definitely
I love
upset.
It. No, I
We
love
also
it.
got Rick Danford, who we've had on here, director, does great job with horror films and everything like that. Bucs will always be the Bucs. A game you had to win against a team already eliminated, a great offense versus a bad defense, and of course, we lost. So that is the common theme tonight from a lot of Bucs Nation. Want to hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Even though the team played flat, they got cheated. That was a fumble by Dallas. Forward progress stopped. Refs deciding outcomes again. Agree with that? Forward progress stopped?
Yeah. I mean, it was stopped. There was no whistle. You'd have wished there would have been a whistle but again, they let Baker was in the grass.
I thought he was in the grass, but I thought it was done. I thought he was sacked at that point.
They let them play. They really did. But they let the Cowboys play a little more.
They let CeeDee Lamb play.
I mean, yeah.
A lot.
I mean, okay. You know, hey, do you think the NFL would want the Bucs and the Falcons to be fighting down to Week 7?
Of course
they do.
You
think Vegas is hoping
of
that
course.
they got okay, so at the end of the day,
it's a storyline. The storyline
continues.
Yes, the storyline, the saga continues. There you go. So refs deciding outcomes again. I'm sorry, Peter Baker could have had the play of the year while protect the football. Tough to watch, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Good comment there by Megan. Good comment by Shane. Let's go out the Bucs basement. This was not shocking. Bulls never has this team prepared. This team looked at the Cowboys as inferior, got punched in the mouth. That's on coaching, just like the Broncos. Except you got your doors blown off by the Broncos. But you're exactly right. Cowboys have nothing to play for. They're eliminated, but they're playing spoiler. They're playing for their coach. We heard this on the broadcast.
Did you see a recurring theme with the Cowboys tonight? Anybody who watches the Cowboys regularly, which you do because they're America's team, they're always on.
Yes.
A lot of young players. And Jay Stoggs from the Big Game Sports Buzz we had on pregame was talking about this. He was giving us names of players to look for because you got guys in there now that are fighting for jobs that have never had jobs. So you got that you got them fighting for it. You had McCarthy wanting the guys to play with it, and they say he's their coach moving forward. You say they had nothing to play for, but at the end of the day, they were actually having a lot to play for, and the Bucs seemed to be the team that didn't have much to play for.
And that interior line had a rough night. I mean, you talked about
Cody got graded.
Cody Mock.
But yeah,
it got absolutely steamrolled by Linval Joseph.
He's a big boy.
He's a monster. He looked like a bigger version of Gilbert Brown, the gravedigger from the Green Bay Packers, just pancaking the offensive lineman.
Mock had PTSD on that play. Did you see that? He was like going.
And listen, Baker's fortunate tonight and there's time again. There are times where we're looking at, we're like, throw the ball away, and he's keeping the ball. He's trying to make plays, trying to slide. He also went into concussion protocol. I mean, he's playing as hard as he can, but he's putting his body in some reckless situations.
He did good with the runs, but again, that touchdown pass he threw to McMillan, right? That he had his hand, or was it a first down? He had his hand hit on that play. And
on Miller, that's on Miller.
I'm sorry, to Miller.
Yes,
you saw him on the sideline, and you saw how much he was trying to hide it, but he was going. And I'm telling you, watch for that to be something in the next day or two.
Hopefully, it's not
to swell up
because
it's not a short week. Yeah, but it is a short week because we were the last game of the week. Yeah, no, actually tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night's the last week. You got the Packers and the Saints. Who doesn't want to watch that debacle from the Saints?
Liam Cohen's next team.
You shut up and be quiet. We deserve to lose today. The way we played, trash. Yeah, I mean, again,
the majority won it.
Yeah, the Cowboys won it, but I don't know why it takes so long for sometimes this offense to have the urgency. And this game, it crept up again. In other games, we've seen it. This is a second half ball club. They come out sleepwalking, especially the second quarter. Same thing tonight against the Cowboys. That is on coaching. That definitely is on coaching.
But early.
Yeah.
It was Sterling dropping the ball. It was Rashad dropping the ball. It was Payne Durham dropping the ball. So at the end of the day, as they're trying to build momentum, even though those drops, the Bucs were able to get it back later and make the passes and have the 9-play, 87-yard drive. At the end of the day, all those drops were only putting collateral in the in the bank of momentum for the Dallas Cowboys, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, Diaby with a half a sack. Besides that, no pass rush to speak of. Once again. Guys got to start winning those matchups, and that's the problem with this team. And this team will go as far honestly, as their offense is going to take them, but also their defense
Pressure.
has to get more pressure. And again,
Logan Hall, I saw him tonight, but we never heard his name once.
well, you saw him make a play there on the running back, which by the way, yeah, they shut down the running game. But besides that, not enough. And again, going back to the statistics for this team, 4 sacks you give up, 2 turnovers. We talked about it. It doesn't matter what team you play, what league you play, whether it's basketball, the NHL, college football. If you do not win the turnover battle, you're going to lose more times than not.
100%.
All right, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, I believe, is trying to fix. I think he's going to cut off our sound here because we cut off our sound. All right, I'm so done with White and the hot garbage secondary. Yeah, the secondary didn't have a good night at all. So that's definitely going to be one of those things that needs to be addressed in the offseason. But again, I think that's also predicated on the pressure. And if you're playing zone and you're not getting pressure, if you're not making tackles in that zone, if you're blitzing and you're not getting there, that's going to leave guys out in the island. We saw that happen tonight. I think it's all predicated together, guys. They got to get better when it comes to those one-on-one matchups, and those players have to win. And if they don't win, then you leave your secondary, your back end, which, again, it's beleaguered. You're missing your 2 starting safeties at this point. I hope the Bucs don't make the playoffs this year. They don't deserve to. And War says the secondary is trash. A lot of players getting exposed tonight. Lavonte David are on the list. Graham Barton also on the list. White is on the list. Yeah, Barton definitely had some, I don't know what it was. It must have been the Dallas defenders as the wind is kicking up at this point. But we saw a couple snaps tonight, whether that's the pressure from the Dallas defense or just bad snaps. And you can't have that because that ruins the timing of the play. In fact, Baker Mayfield gets a bad snap there. You have a player wide open. I believe it's White there in the flat. And because of that timing of that play that it's screwed up, and I get it, he's a rookie, but you can't have that in those critical situations, especially on third down. You have a player wide open and the timing is screwed up. You're not able to complete that pass on third down. So definitely a rough night for the rookie and Barton with holding, with bad snaps. Definitely a rough night overall for this offensive line. And again, give credit to where credit is due. This Dallas defensive line got after this Bucs offense tonight, and Mike, the defensive coordinator there, Mike Zimmer, is definitely a hell of a defensive coordinator. Once again, our zone defense made a backup quarterback look like the greatest of all time, but I would have to say our offense lost his game with too many turnovers. Yeah, I agree with that. You guys got to relax because the Cowboys were flying around and hitting hard. Yes. I mean, there's some hard hits tonight, and you talked about it. Baker, throwing it, I think it was like 3rd and 40 or something like that to Payne Durham, and Payne Durham nearly got his head knocked off. He threw the ball to Mike Evans. All legal hits, all with the shoulder pad, not the crown of the helmet, just tough hits.
Tough. And that's stealed by that DB number 2.
Yes.
Was it number 2?
I believe it was.
It took me right back to Deion Sanders, prime time, wearing those Dallas Cowboys same colors, because I've not seen a defensive back in the Dallas Cowboys go up like I've seen hits. Yes. I've seen Trayvon Diggs just step into the ball, but I've not seen a DB or a
Jordan Lewis you're talking about there, and he also had Darren Bland, who had a great night for them. 8 tackles, was all over the place.
Jay Stoggs mentioned him in the pregame too.
Sure,
that's why we had Jay Stoggs in here in Big Game James, because they're in Dallas, so they had a little insight and they came through. They gave us knowledge. It's just a shame the Bucs didn't watch this pregame show. They were probably listening to Method or something. Method. I don't
know what they were looking at. I don't know what you're just saying right now. You better wake up, because you got to wake up at 3:00 there, old man.
Stop.
Couple hours. Stop. All right. You got to okay. So good comment there by Christopher. Let's go out to KR. I hate the Cowboys. This team doesn't even need to be on prime time until the football gods make this a cupcake game, because this team is unreal. Please retire Coach Bowles after the season. That's how KR believes. And it's tough. It's tough to play on prime time and for this team for some reason. And again, that is on coaching. I hate to say it, that is definitely on coaching.
Coaches are responsible for having a team up and ready to play.
Yeah.
And this week they were They were up, but they didn't really look ready to play, not especially in the first half.
Dave says, bucked once again by the refs. Yes. Joshua Dietz says, this really pisses me the F off. I think that's what he's saying. Good comment, as always. How can other teams bring in their backups and their backups play like starters, but our backups play like backups? Is that coaching?
Cooper Rush has been there for a minute. Mike McCarthy's a hell of an offensive coach. I mean, the scary thing, it's not like we were talking about. It wasn't your boy there in New York coming in, 1 minute. But I mean, at the end of the day, I was a little worried about this because it reminds me of a Jason Garrett back when he was the short white backup quarterback who could come in and just do enough to keep his job and ended up being coach of the team. So at the end of the day, again, that Mike McCarthy, he's kind of been known as a quarterback whisperer over the length of his career.
All right. And again, Rush has had the experience as a backup and in this Dallas offense.
Yeah.
You got to give him credit, but you're exactly right. Too much time for him. I mean, and what a difference a week makes. Again, it's no freaking logic. You just can't figure out these teams.
We go to L.A.
Now what does the national media say? You know what they say? That's what they say. They say,
exactly
well, we told you the Bucs were bums, and then they're back again.
Is Colin Coward rescinding his offer for Baker to go out there and do it?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll wait. I'll tune in for all 6 hours tomorrow on WDAE to see.
Well, there you go. That's what you get. You get your fill of the herd right there. 6 hours worth.
I got your herd right here.
Yeah, I got you.
This guy sucks.
White needs to go. Bucky number 1, Tucker number 2. Second consecutive week putting the ball on the ground. At that point, I get it. You're trying to make a play, but you got to protect it. But also the Dallas defender trying to pull it away. We watched the replay. I thought maybe he was down, but he was on another player, so it was definitely pulled out. I mean, what did you see?
We were down 12. We were down 9 points. It was 2 scores. He was trying to make something. happen.
Well, no, you're down 2 at that point.
Well,
That's on the last drive. That's White.
Oh, that was the last drive.
Yeah, it was the last drive.
Yeah,
White.
fire that bum. No, I just, the thing is, you wish he would have gotten down. You wish Baker would have just went into the grasp. You wish, 100 things would have happened on that. I mean, that's why they play the game.
I didn't think it was, and I'm going to go back out to this. We need to fix this defense now. I don't know how, but at the offseason, the solution where do you start? You need an edge rusher. That's where you go because these guys have been disappointing. Like, I love Yaya Diaby. He had a half a sack, but it's not consistent enough. JTS, was he there tonight? Was he a man on the milk carton?
Did he fly
again?
to Dallas? I didn't.
Was he there? Was he injured?
Not at all.
I didn't hear from him at all. Where is he at? Kalijah Cansey shows some flat. You need an edge rusher.
Yeah.
The guy on the opposing team.
Like you said, Micah Parsons.
That would be in the grand scheme of things because
if you had him.
Right. Why not?
If you had him, you'd be the number one defense in the league.
Trade a first-round pick, trade a second-round pick. I get it. He's not perfect. He takes all plays. But maybe Todd Bowles, if he's still here and that defensive staff can get something out of him. What's the other position you need? Most likely middle linebacker. Because as we talked about tonight, you saw tonight, the wide open middle was open all night long, like the Atlantic Ocean. It's been like that all year long. So you need a middle linebacker. You possibly need a corner because Jamel Dean is too inconsistent. Zion McCollum is coming into his own, but you need some help at this point with that. So those are the 3 positions I'm looking at. Again, I'm not trying to tell you that this season is over with because you still got 2 games left. Not looking forward to the draft, but you want to talk draft, edge, middle linebacker, and corner. And I think in that order. And for me, if Micah Parsons is out there or Myles Garrett is out there or Max Crosby is out there, I'm trading a couple of first-round picks. You know why? Because they're known commodities. And also, you know why? And I get it. Jason Light loves his picks. But, rookie pass rushers coming in, it's a tough thing to get.
Yeah.
You already got Braswell. You haven't seen enough from him. Maybe he's the answer next year, but has he shown you enough? No. That's what I'm saying. Go after a veteran pass rusher, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They don't grow on trees, and there's a reason why.
I was going to say, see if a team wants to trade for a Chris Godwin, but
sure.
He's not under contract next season for us. So,
well,
you got to make things happen first there. But, you got to figure out a way.
I think McMillan has stepped up, but I would rather see Godwin in the Bucs uniform. Now, that remains to be seen on how much money he's going to need and if he's going to be able to come back from this horrific injury of a dislocated ankle. I think he will. He's a hard worker.
Oh, heck yeah.
His value is not going to be as high.
His attitude,
but his attitude is great. He's a Tampa Bay guy. Why would you want to leave Mike Evans in this Tampa Bay organization with the way they've treated you, with the way you could be featured in this offense? And again, I am not in that group that says Liam Cohen is gone and he's going to bolt for another job. Maybe this is the job. Maybe this is his future job eventually.
It's December 22nd. We're sitting out here on Central Avenue, just below 16th Street in the Edge District of St. Petersburg.
Edge.
You're wearing military bird shorts.
I'm never wearing these shorts again because I'm tired of you guys talking about my shorts.
I'm saying it's just, why wouldn't you want? Where else do you want to be in Tampa Bay?
That's what I'm talking about.
Liam and that beautiful family is maybe he's like, you know
and
what?
187 people watching. By the way, thanks a lot to the JP Peterson Twitter feed there. Of course, my Twitter feed. The Sports Web, as always, doing great numbers.
And my Grindr
my
page.
Facebook. Oh, there you go. Your Grindr page right there. Yeah.
All right, so swipe right and see what happens.
Fix
next.
the defense at this point. Can you get through with this defense with the way how inconsistent they are?
Yes, you can, but you got to make sure that another team doesn't figure out a way to just stop Mike Evans. You don't have K. Dotton in there that they even. But
defensively, can you stop a Philadelphia? Can you stop a Detroit?
We got to score though, because we're bend but don't break defense, and you make 16 field goals against us, you're going to win the score. You're going to win 43-38.
Well, you're not going to face an Aubrey who had two 58-yard field goals tonight. We had another 49-yarder.
Yes, but we were
Mr. Automatic.
So think about how many touchdowns did the Cowboys really have? I mean, they had 2, but I mean, it wasn't like they were blazing up and down the field. It was all bend but don't break. And one of them, we gave them the ball in midfield, and that was in the first quarter. That was the first touchdown.
And again, as Bucs Basement and Andy mentioned, the clock management issue there
that
before
was
the
an
half.
issue. Yeah,
you
Andy
give
made
him
a great
extra
point.
3 points.
And I love Andy. I respect Andy.
Love
Andy's
one
of he knows. And for him to come off like that, I think might have been my highlight of my post game because I respect him and he's right about that.
This is what TJ says, guys. That wasn't a pick though, and I thought the same thing. I didn't think it was a pick either. I thought it was, they're fighting for the ball.
Yes.
I thought McMillan had it, and I guess when they're rolling down, I mean, how does it work out at that point? Because to me, I thought it's anybody's ball.
Well, possession's 9/10 of the law, and he came up with the ball. McMillan's just on the ground trying to figure out which way was up.
Yeah. So
I mean, if a tie comes to the runner at the end of the day, he was up and running with the ball, so the tie went to him, and they couldn't review it. It wasn't going to get overturned either way how it was called, and I'll tell you, TJ's probably alluding to that because if it had called incomplete or if they had called a Bucs touchdown, there was not enough to overturn it.
Yeah.
One of them calls.
No, not at all. All right, Cam says Peter, he can't blitz every play in the first quarter. That's Bowles. Absolutely. TJ says he was down and rolled over with the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he looked like he was down.
But
to me,
it was right there. It was bang, bang. Right. Because you and I were looking at they're showing the replay over and over.
I thought he had a touchdown.
And TJ's there in AT&T Stadium.
I'm holding my hands up like this, like it's a touchdown. And then I see the ref saying, they're going the other way.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'd like to know if TJ's thoughts were on the CeeDee Lamb pass or push off in the first quarter where they called
clearly a push off. It's a Michael Irvin push off.
Exactly. And I mean, Mike Evans is known to have his, where the point of contact, but CeeDee pushed off and then we got called for the foul.
Yeah.
And it was a completed pass. It was just bad all the way around.
By the way, what other sports talk show post game is on right now? Do you know?
Absolutely
nobody.
Why would they? Why would they compete with this?
They can't. There you go. Okay, so good stuff there. Greg Cole says, damn sure not on Baker. That's a fair assessment on that. There is zero reason White should be leading the running back room. And I think it goes back to this, right? And I understand they're sharing carries. White has over 500 yards rushing. Bucky clearly is the number one running back on this team. But in that situation, I believe when it comes to pass protection, they feel more comfortable instead of a rookie. Irving has showed that, but in that situation to catch the ball, even though Irving's able to do that, White at that point, that's where they go with it. Is that the?
Well, let me go back.
For me, it's like, why is Bucky not in that at that point?
Well, let me ask you. In the gated community that is the press box there at Raymond James Stadium. Yes. I've not been there for a Bucs game where they serve filet mignon and bananas Foster.
Yes,
but did you listen? When they introduced the Buccaneers offensive lineup against the Raiders 2 weeks ago, did you hear the lineup introduced? I'm not calling you out. I know I'm in there for the USF Bulls.
Yeah.
You don't hear everything's going outside.
Sure.
They made a judicious effort to both recognize Rachaad White and Bucky Irving as your two starting running backs on your Buccaneers offense because they figure we got 72 wide receivers. Let's give them both respect. I think that's a sign of what the Buccaneers have been doing all season. We respect Rachaad, but Bucky has earned a starting job, and Bucky will probably be your starting quarter running back this next week.
Well, if you continue to put the ball on the ground like White has the last couple of weeks, and I get it, he's trying to make a play. I understand the kid's trying to make the play. He's explosive. He's done great things with catching the ball out of the backfield. But if you continue to put the ball on the ground, that for a defensive coach, that's driving him crazy because he can't turn over the ball. So maybe you do give the ball to Irving in that point at that.
And then let Rashad come back in and earn
Right.
his stripes. And this way,
Right.
when you hit the postseason after Atlanta loses the
I
Commanders,
get it.
next
They got a
week-
good thing going, but I understand where this fan is coming from.
Yeah,
here. There's
100%.
zero reason why it should be leading the room. Quezzo, we should have just taken the sack. We only needed 37 yards for the field goal. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I know Baker's trying to make a play. Take the sack. I get it. Some time's going to run off the clock. You still have some time at that point.
Yeah.
You're trying to get in field goal position. Instead, you make a fantastic play at the time, but then White fumbles the ball. So, yeah. It's tough.
You're ready to go.
So tough. That's exactly what I said. It's like I got to do this. Like, why did I? And Harry said it. Like he foreshadowed it. He said if they lost, we do a post game. So I think Harry, even though
Harry
he predicted,
the Greek
yes,
made the prediction.
he made the
And
prediction.
I didn't know what was going on because I was actually inside the beautiful little. They have an indoor thing here.
Thank God for
I
that
wasn't
heater,
watching
by
the
the
game.
way.
Yeah, the heater had you going. But then when I saw you jump up and both those strippers jumped off your lap, I was like, "What happened?" And you're like, "The Bucs turned them all over."
Shut up!
And
The
by the way,
interception,
did you
yes.
get those guys' names?
Well, we shut up and be quiet at
I'm
this
sorry.
point.
I'm sorry.
Jeez,
That's
it's
for
too
calling
late
me a-
for this crap.
That's for calling me a
from you.
liberal in the pregame.
You shut up and be quiet.
Shut
There
up!
you go.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
All right, guys. Open phone lines if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we got a bike rider right there. What if he's a Bucs fan? I don't know. He just stopped. Yeah, there he goes. I think he's a Bucs fan. He gave us the peace sign.
Yes.
What's going on, buddy? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
There you go. Hopefully he has a great night. He has a safe night there. Open phone line again, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Look at your phone right now. How cold is it out here?
Oh, yeah. I
We
bet
got
you
the little
it's
wind out
54,
here.
because I told you to wear pants.
Where I'll be next time I will.
Well, I mean, when I said wear pants, I mean, please, at least underwear. I look over here.
Next
You want to know how cold
I'm
it is?
wearing my
Oh, it's
thermal.
very cold.
You know how cold it is? I got goosebumps right now on my legs.
Oh, look at
God.
Go ahead, Turtle. Read the
Chicken
comments.
legs. You shut up. All right. So yes. The interception drive in the fourth quarter, pass comes on Liam. Are you smarter than that? Did they abandon? Because we'll go back to
Abandon the
those
run?
numbers right there. Yes, and this is one thing that Harry talked about tonight when it comes 55 degrees. And it feels. We'll see what happens here. We'll read all the comments and then we'll see if we get any phone calls. If we don't, we'll wrap it up for the night, guys. We'll talk tomorrow night.
Yes.
On a non-victory
Ouch.
Monday. But let's see here. Running game, Bucky Irving, 16 for 68. Of course, had the one touchdown early. I get it. You get down, but do you feel like they abandoned that run? I mean, on top of it, the other worst thing was the field position tonight.
Well, yeah, but second.
Trey Palmer, punting and not
Yes.
having that field position, starting off in your back end, that hurts you. I get it. You got 9 plays, 87 yards, but for the majority of the night, the field position was atrocious. And then you have the opportunity, once again, a play where, it looks like Deckers is going to down it at the 1 or 2 yard line,
Yes.
and you're not able to make the play because
Poor
the guy
kid.
steps on the line.
The undrafted kid out of San Diego State or San Diego State. The thing was, it comes back to that 2nd and 14. They ran a delay trap. And right then, Chris Collinsworth made the very astute point
Yes.
that at that point, the game had already gotten to where all the contact and all the battle was being done in the Buccaneer backfield and nowhere past their offensive line in the Cowboys defense.
Sure.
And they run, and I get it, it's Bucky. You want to run that little trap where he does I'm going in the 4 hole. Whoop, 1 juke. I'm going up the 7 hole. And you love that. But at that point, I felt like they should have been trying to run downfield, and it was right then and there. I told you, watch, they're going to abandon the run in the second half, and they had to.
Yep.
Because guess what? Their cute little Bucky hip check or whatever they want to. Oh, I hate to say he had a injured hip, but
Right.
it wasn't working.
And I say next week because you struggle so much. I mean, you're usually good on those first drives there, but come out with urgency against the Carolina Panthers. Maybe come out some hurry up, wear out that defense.
In fact, if you win the toss, run the punt team out. Okay,
Yeah.
let's establish the toughness right up front.
All right, so I don't know about running the punt team out at this point. Refs were so bad all night and finally called Dallas's O-line for holding. Yep, they did absolutely that.
Oh, yeah!
Let's go out to Anwar, Shepard, White, David lost the game for tonight. Agree with that?
David lost it?
Yeah,
Levante?
yeah, David was not good tonight.
Well, they just like they took Mike Evans out on the offensive side, it seemed like every plan that the Dallas Cowboys had on offense was to take Levante out of the game, whether it meant neutralizing him or just going the other way. And they were successful all night in that. I mean, you had Ezian was your leading tackler at halftime with 6 tackles.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem with a safety.
Your leading tackler,
yes,
that shows you the problem.
Yeah. All right. Shepard went out with a hamstring injury. That hurts your wide receiving core once again. And White, of course,
Let's
with
hope
the
that
fumble.
ankle. Let's hope Tristan Wirf's ankle is fine. I think he's going to be fine.
He returned, but the offensive line overall, especially the interior, from those.
The battle was taking place in our backfield all night.
Yep. And you weren't able to run the ball when you tried to run the ball because the Dallas defenders were just pushing that offensive line back, and those running backs had to find creases and places to run, and they weren't able to do that. They were not able to do that.
The Buccaneers offense is a front-running offense. I mean, I don't even call them out, but yeah, if they have success, because they did it later in the game, they finally had one play worked and one play turned to 2, and next thing you know, they were running the quick outs and Mike Evans for 20 or 17. So, but if some other team stops them, if they try to drive down, and that's why maybe I question Todd Bowles if they win the toss next week, do you get that ball? Because if they stop you, it seems like not only do you give them momentum, but all of a sudden Liam Cohen's play calling starts to go, oh, this didn't work. The 15-play sheet script didn't work, and they seem to get off their game.
Let's go out to Instagram Live. Always love hearing from this lovely lady here, Miss Sandra Nagel, my future agent, my mother, watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web with Ray Kennedy. Terrible calls all night long. Terrible. She was saying that. She was texting me, what is going on with this game?
Animated.
She was. If she would have been here, she would have been pissed off.
Yeah.
She said it, the refs all night long. I mean, what's new? Primetime game, playoff consequences on the line.
I mean, we watched ourselves get screwed, but we're all looking forward to next week's game because the narrative is thicker.
This team doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Earl, I'm not ready to say that, but they definitely didn't play like it tonight.
They've got to, and they have to, where they're at right now, they have to earn their way in and hope that the Falcons don't just win out. Again, Commanders, big ask, and then even the Panthers the last week of the season, they could give the Falcons a chance. We got the Panthers next week and then the Saints the last week.
Yep.
So a lot of football yet to be played. So, I mean,
certainly winnable games, and you thought coming in Dallas would be a winnable game, but once again, if you don't play your game, then you're
we're at home.
Likely,
Bucs fans, show in and show out. We're going to be there next year. The Buck tailgate, the pregame show, we're going to own.
We'll be there next
Hines
week. Not necessarily. I
Boulevard.
think we'll be there next year too. But with the Saints coming to town, what is it, January 5th or something? So you were foreshadowing on that too.
And the Saints
Go marching in.
Who that?
Who this? How about that? Didn't we try that route with Dirk? Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah.
Like it's so good, but you're repeating history, and I'm not going to sit here and say that Cohen may be the next, Kevin O'Connell, the offensive mastermind for the Minnesota Vikings. See what they did with the quarterbacks and what he's done out of that Rams tree. And Liam Cohen is also from that Rams tree. I'm not saying this offense isn't explosive, but to sit here and say it's a foregone conclusion, although some things may change, we don't know. Like, we don't know what the Glazers are thinking. We don't know what Jason Light is thinking. But at the end of the day, Bucs fans, I'm still amazed that you want somebody fired just like that. You want to basically reset everything, and everything is going to be fine, and there's not going to be anything negative that's going to come out of that, because we know that that's not necessarily always the case.
Hey, you're JP Peterson side saddle.
Yes.
He's got a great show from 10 to 12.
He does, coming up
WATB
here in a
Sports
couple
in
hours.
the morning, right?
Yes.
A couple hours. Thanks,
Yes.
Peter. Make me feel old and tired.
Yes.
And JP's got some great little lines. I like his little teasers he always throws out there. For the Bucs game, because you know JP as well as anyone. You produced his show there on Wednesdays for quite a long. Great job, by the way.
Thank you.
What's his first little blip line? What's the teaser line he's going to put out there for the Bucs tomorrow?
I mean, the Bucs underplayed or just got outplayed by the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's what it comes down to. Todd Bowles' decision comes back to haunt him. It's a clock management situation.
Oh, I got it. JP's first line will say, Todd Bowles coaching not ready for prime time.
Probably.
But he's good like that. We'll see.
And, of course, Tim IndyCar Ham will be running FanStream Sports. He's there in Dallas, and it was with the media. He was with the media icon there, Mr. TJ Reese. Who knows?
Was Tim with him?
And by the way, I'm surprised, guys. We stayed up tonight for this, and we got no calls.
Yeah, but we got those two ladies waiting for us.
Right there. Right there.
Oh, wait.
Well, there's two speakers. See, that's what you're getting. That's a speaker. That's not a lady. Tired. That's a speaker.
I thought it was a big fat woman. I was like,
I'll make my mind up about Bowles in the next two games. Reason worse hurt players hurt throughout the year, but we can win. We can win. This is what I was afraid of for this game. Also, another loss without getting the ball first. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. Looks like no one was prepared for this game. Agree with that? No one was prepared for this game.
We weren't prepared for how much Dallas was going to bring it.
Yeah,
we were hoping, especially I think what happened. You know what the worst thing that happened for the Bucs tonight?
Yeah,
is the Cowboys being eliminated before the game started. Because one, it motivated them a little more, and maybe the Bucs were like, this team got eliminated. We're going to catch them. Watch this. CeeDee's going to get a hurt shoulder early.
They're going to be sleepwalking.
They're going to sleepwalk.
Nope.
Oh, they got a quarterback again?
Yeah, Cooper Rush.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I think I would like to see this game played again. In fact, let's do it again. Let's play it again right now. If the Cowboys hadn't been eliminated before the game, I think we might have saw maybe a little bit of a different outcome. Not an outcome, but a game maybe.
I mean, again, overall, a lot of the plays were in the first half. They still moved the ball, but I give credit to that defense, and they did make some stops and give the offense the opportunities. The offense didn't cash in.
And you know what?
That's on the offense.
Credit to Yoda. I mean, every time
give me some Yoda.
Every time. Oh, win the game, you must. Every time they showed Jerry Jones, I swear I thought he was going to start levitating.
Can you please just keep on doing that voice? Let's go ahead and do that.
Oh, the Buccaneers must lose to the Cowboys. They must. That's all the kids job.
That guy, I mean, his face is getting.
I always call him Skeletor.
No, it's Yoda now.
Oh, it's Yoda?
It was Skeletor before the surgery.
Keep on talking. What did he say?
He said,
McCarthy, to win, to keep your job, you must.
That's
great.
That's freaking great. All right, let's go out to Christopher Cole. Got to still keep fighting. Absolutely. This Bucs team continues to fight, even being down. And again, a lot of fans with that interception where it didn't. I don't know. I can't believe it was an interception. I get it. They're rolling over. They're fighting for it. I thought McMillan had it. You could probably, stop the play. But at that point, they let them play. And, of course, the Dallas defender wins out.
As much as I want to say they missed the calls, because it seemed like the calls were always going in Dallas's favor.
Right.
The way they took time, the officials took time to make their calls. And, again, I can't – for that call, the way that Cowboy guy the way the player came up with the ball off of McMillan's lap, in a bang play, you got to say, well, they both had it going down. McMillan seemed to have possession of it, but right as their bodies were hitting the ground was when it transferred possession.
Yeah.
So the officiating wasn't egregious. It wasn't definitely in our favor.
It was Yoda.
Oh, let me tell you about it.
And you love how Chris Collinsworth. This is how much Jerry Jones owns the league.
Can you do Chris Collinsworth in the Yoda voice?
Oh. Dallas has a bigger problem than just their coach. It goes a lot higher, but I'll never say his name because we know that him and Roger Goodell both run this league.
You like how Chris Collinsworth is like literally dancing around a subject. They got a problem. It's not the coach. It's not the players. It's not the fans. It's not the stadium. But we don't know what it is. Still kissing Jerry Jones' ass.
Right.
Because that's what you
it's
do
the
for the
higher
guy.
Ups,
well, yeah.
They won't say Jones.
Well,
Jones
they don't want to say. Well, it's right Yoda. There. But yeah,
Right.
The force is with you, McCarthy.
Okay, it's getting old.
It's beautiful. It's great. It never gets old. All right, our offense played well when we allowed Bucky to be the lead back. Cohen decided to stop going to him, allow White to play more, and that cost us. I'm also seriously sick of watching Bowles call our defense. He's the most overrated defensive coordinator, head coach in the football. Let Cohen be the head coach. Strong comments.
I mean, true to a point, but then you got Kalijah last week backing out, Vita Vea backing out. These schemes are still keeping these up. We kept those.
Vita Vea backing out tonight to bury the tight end. Right.
So you can bring the extra linebacker or bring an extra DB that's not Winfield who's out injured. You got to drop a Vita Vea or you got to drop a Kalijah into coverage. And it turns out 2 weeks in a row, his scheme actually does work. But if the offense isn't working either, his scheme suddenly
it's complementary football.
You got to have it. Tonight they didn't have it.
And I don't put this all on the defense. I think it's also the offense's inability, whether it's penalties, turnovers, just ineffectiveness, and Baker feeling that pressure tonight and trying to get out of that and not able to do that because Dallas is playing great defense right now.
And you guys know how
Mike Zimmer, right?
Mike Zimmer.
Yeah.
And you know how anti-fire Bulls I am. But I'm telling you, from my money tonight, if you told me that Todd Bowles is going to be the kind of coach that's going to go for on 4th down and 3 at midfield when the other team went down the field and got a field goal in their place and give them momentum.
Questionable.
If that's the way his coaching is always going to go, then yeah, at the end of the day, even the 53 guys in a room would go, we got to have a coach that makes a better call.
I don't hate the call.
I don't hate the
I
call.
Understand
if it works, especially.
What I hate is the clock management situation
that hurts
two of
too.
the web heads have definitely pointed out James Bucs basement there, and of course Andy
Finley,
overseas.
yes.
Yeah, that's tough, and that gives away. You lose 2 points. That's 3 points right there that you gave up because of the clock management situation, and we know that's been a Bulls thing.
100%.
And that's what you're
I don't
concerned
think he's
about.
ever going to be able to shake that because it goes back to the Jets.
Yep. Dirk, I think he said dork.
Dork.
TJ, and a lot of people thought that Dirk was a dork with his
Yeah, it was.
with his coaching prowess there. Dork didn't have a top 5 offense in the NFL. It's Dirk. Dork didn't have a top 5 offense. I don't believe he did, but he did have success with Jameis Winston.
He had success, but again, if you go back to the very year that they fired Lovie Smith, and
Yes.
that defense was starting to come around after the crappy show that we'd had the years before and the fire show or Mike Smith and all what was going on here, Lovie Smith seemed to have this team ready to go. Well, that was after, but had this team trending in the right direction, knowing that the Dirk Cotter experiment was not going to flush out with Jameis Winston. I'd go back and take Lovie Smith another couple of years every day of the week.
Again, hindsight is 2020, but
'Cause we got
Lovie-
Bruce Arians
but
and
Lovie
everything.
Smith, would he ever coach? He coached the Texans and
Illinois.
did well there.
And he
Illinois,
grew
and
the gray
Texans.
beard, and I think he's delivering
Yeah.
presents on Tuesday night.
He is. Merry Christmas.
He looks like Santa.
All right, guys, open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web here, late night edition, live from Ferg Sports Bar and Grill. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter, along with Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, been here all night long. Bucs fans, I hope you appreciate what we provided you. We'll be live, I think, tomorrow night with maybe the media icon coming back from Dallas. We'll see. Why not rebuild the defense? Can't get any worse. Agree with that? Rebuild the defense at this point?
The rest of the division's trending up. I mean, the New Orleans Saints are the only team that's behind the Bucs theoretically, as we're kind of leveling.
$80 to $90
gone
million
down, right?
in cap hell next year.
Oh, I know.
We'll see.
And so if we start building, I mean, you got to make sure you're ready for Bryce Young and what Carolina seems to have going on. You got to be ready for the fact that
Michael Penix
could be
Yeah.
the guy, and he's still got Drake London and
Kyle
Bijan
Pitts.
and Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts. So, and they've got pretty good defenses too. So if we're gonna blow this thing up, if you are gonna do it, hopefully Bowles is on board. And you
I'm
do
not
it
ready to
fast.
blow it up.
I'm not either.
I'm not ready. I'm just not ready to do it. And again, the season's not over with. There still needs to be some things decided here. The Bucs can still somewhat, they have to take care of their business, but now they're going to have to depend on the Atlanta Falcons next Sunday night versus the Commanders. Must see TV.
And the thing is, again, it's just going to go to the narrative because this is what I'm going to go to bed tonight thinking. Probably the first thought I have in the morning is, even though the Buccaneers lost tonight, and if they slip in, they slide in at 9 and 8, and make or whatever and win the division. All the words, because I go back to what Pat McAfee said in the what you played and what Colin Cowherd said. You don't want to play this Buccaneers team in the playoffs because at the end of the day, when everything's firing right, they are one of the best teams in the National Football Conference. It's just, I guess we're finding out that all you got to do is find a chink in their armor, but that's what the other teams get paid to do.
That's it. There you go. They get paid also, it says by Leo Haggerty, or the legend himself. Come on, caller. It's not over yet. Joshua says, should have played quicker tempo on offense. Agree.
Yeah.
Had no answer when they did most part. Also, NFL needs to do something about players faking injuries to stop the pace. Players should be forced out of the drive or team forced to use a timeout. I believe they were used. They had to use a timeout. Did they not?
For both Evans and also CD? Is that what you're saying?
No, was for the defensive player there.
Oh, yeah, when he was
going down.
Yeah. Because then also
I think it was trying. What he's trying to say is that defense at that point was gassed.
They were gassed.
But they did have to use that timeout. Micah Parsons was gassed also. He saw his effort.
If they could have kept going right there, they would have scored a lot sooner. It would have gave us more time at the end to possibly have done something. But I don't know. Again, the way the Bucs are playing tonight, they lost it after early in the third quarter. You kind of had a feeling like if they're going to win it, it's going to take some kind of magic, and it come down to it that they almost required that magic.
I'm right. I'll have whatever. He's talking to Christopher Cole. I'll have whatever you're smoking. You haven't watched the D all this season. Earl Harris says, guess we should stay average with Todd Bowles. Oh, well.
Ouch.
I don't know if you stay average. I don't think this team is average by any means. Winning division titles is not average, Earl.
No.
But yes, I think there is a point where you have to take a look at it and see, is this the coach that you have? I've said that before, and I'll say it again, but I'm ready to play this out and see how it goes.
Well, look at how long the Lions went after they won their first Super Bowl, and then the Vikings after they won their first Super Bowl. And what other teams have never won a Super Bowl? And we won one just 5 years ago, and we're supposed to be in Tom Brady cap hell, and we're still competing for a division. It might be the worst division in some people's, fantasies or fantasy leagues, but at the end of the day, we're still competing. So, you got 2 more games. Let the season play out.
Meaningful football is not a bad thing.
I'll agree with that.
You'll take that all day long because there have been so many seasons as covering the Bucs and being a Bucs fan and seeing them just talking draft ad nauseum for the last 3 to 4 months of the season. And it starts in October and November.
Even earlier.
Who do we want? Who's the number one quarterback? Who's the number one defender? The number one offensive tackle? Who are we getting? Who are we trading up for?
There were some years where Buccaneers fans were looking for who the first round quarterback's going to be before the preseason ended. So let's not lie about that.
Yes.
It's like we have no chance. When we do, we're always going to hope. But
we heard that a couple of years ago with Baker Mayfield coming in. Oh, well, they're going to tank and they're going to go for Caleb Williams, and then Baker Mayfield turns.
Whoa, he's a guy.
Turns
out he's a guy.
Bank it. We are done. Panthers will finish us off next Sunday playing like this.
Well,
Agree.
if they do, then yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But that makes me want to be at that game next week at Raymond James even all the more because it is a battle. I don't want a game that doesn't mean anything. I'd like this Bucs to lock it up, first place. The Falcons would have lost tonight next week, and then we're playing the Saints week. I don't want to go. I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars to go see them play the Saints, and it doesn't mean anything. And if it doesn't mean anything, and they back into the playoffs again, they get the first round schedule next season. They lose in the first round, and I'm going, man, I really wish we'd have lost that Saints game, or I really wish we wouldn't have, because we'd have a second or third place schedule and still a team that can compete any day of the week. I know my logic does not register.
Todd didn't fumble the ball after Baker fought tooth and nails to keep the play alive. Todd also didn't drop balls when players are smacked between the numbers with the ball. Yeah,
and even when they weren't smacked early in the game,
that's what
balls.
Like everybody's putting it on coaching. It's on coaching. It's on coaching. Like this is what Bucs fans' mantra is. We've seen this show before.
Yeah,
it's rinse and repeat. Yeah. I'm not ready to do that yet. Why are you guys ready to just do that? Why is it like this?
All
I don't.
Read
what happens if Cohen and you make him the coach and that doesn't work out?
What happens if Cohen becomes the coach, but Larry Foote, who's been the assistant defensive helper for like 100 years, he's not the guy. So he goes out and brings a new defensive coordinator in, and he pisses off our defense. Now you got Vita Vea, and now we're trying to find Levante's replacement, and Antoine Winfield suddenly not playing like an all-star quarterback or cornerback or safety. And now we're like, wow, maybe we shouldn't have. So at the end of the day, let Jason Light make that decision. But let's just finish these last 2 weeks. Let's stay positive. Let's let the cards play out. Let's enjoy the season instead of being tight butthole already going, fire everybody. Jamie Lindsay, I love you, but you're like, you've been dead to us since week 1.
You're fired.
That's every Bucs fan. Like anytime the Bucs lose, it's fire Bulls, fire Bulls, fire Bulls. But when the Bucs win, it's nothing.
I know. And the thing is, what happens? You luck out, you win the division, you wild card, you win 4 in a row, you win a Super Bowl, and you're so busy worrying about how it shouldn't have happened, you don't enjoy the fact that it did.
We should have eviscerated Dallas tonight, says Mike Stover. That's how you do it. That is a Leo word. Todd Bowles coached his way up a job in New York. He's doing it here too. Josh has some same dumpster juice players on the roster that's on Todd, and that maybe is definitely a fault of Todd Bowles. We saw that last year with Devin White sticking with him too long, making those changes. JTS, I don't think is the answer. If he's the answer to the question, what is the question? For a guy that doesn't show up, for a guy that
he was a luxury
finish,
pick after winning the Super Bowl.
He's just a guy.
Yeah,
that's all he is. He's just a guy. Just a guy.
Yeah.
Play Anthony Nelson, play somebody else. Yeah, go out and get a veteran. Go out and draft somebody. Play Chris Braswell more.
Or get someone in there that's gonna Yeah. I mean
that's your future guy. Play Chris Braswell more. Let's see what the kid's got, because I know what you got in JTS. He's just a guy. That really falls on Jason Light. Good point on Jason Light. Again, you can't control injuries. I think he's done some good work, but also this linebacking situation is not good. Levante David is up there in age. He's played well at times, but he was exposed tonight, especially when it comes to coverage.
Well, they spent a lot of time on the field.
Yeah,
the defense, especially in the first half, because the second half seemed like our offense was gassed because we were finally having success.
I'm not reading any Cam Decker comments.
Plus it's already after 1 o'clock. Yeah. We got to bring this. We got to land.
Yes, we will. All right, defense played better in the second. Absolutely. Anwar says David showed his age today. White is not there. It also
No, he's
didn't help
still
that the
there.
refs missed key calls. Absolutely, Mike. Agree with that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
lost our chance at the playoffs tonight. Penix will take Atlanta to the playoffs. We had to win this one. I believe the Bucs drop another egg in the next two,
Wow.
probably to the Panthers. That's
They're-
how Josh
they're bo-
feels.
hey, they're both at home, and if they earn it, they earn it. If they earn the right not to be there in February or late
Earl says
January,
this team is done. Are you ready is it done for
well, then
you?
why'd we even start the season if we're done with 2 games to go and we're still in the thick of it? Then why do we even bother? In fact, when does baseball season start? When do pitchers and catchers report?
Where are they playing this year? Are they playing in Tampa?
Oh,
Look at this win right now.
It's
Isn't this
nice,
great?
right?
It's
You- you-
nice.
you and
I
your
like you.
You and your Larry Bird shorts.
High five.
God, it's so.
Where were all the callers when they were winning? Yeah, exactly. Todd Bowles' wife. Oh, goodness
Is
gracious.
that
I'm
Cam
not-
again?
That's Cam. I'm not
Cam's-
reading his
Cam's
comments. Some
classic.
great effort plays just for some bums to cost us in the end. Shepard and White were key to the loss. Skipping you, Cam. Screw you. Give a team an easy 10-point lead, and that is what happened.
That's what you did.
Good comment.
And their
Yep.
place.
Yep.
A team that had nothing to lose.
I mean, after the Vea tackle, it should have been in the bag. That set the tone. Then, boom, White fumble. Get that dude off the field for forever, says Joshua right there.
Yeah.
Before the game started, I said they better not have their head in the clouds from the last game because this
Yeah.
was one good game compared to the many bad games that the D has played. Cut Sterling Shepard, says Earl Harris
Oh.
III. You're off your meds. Earl again. White is not reliable. I'm not reading Cam's comment tonight.
Damn.
Why did Cohen change the run scheme from gap to power?
Again, I mean, trying to be a little too cute sometimes.
Yeah.
With the second and 14, and you run delay trap that switches backfield, like your offensive line's been having any success pushing Dallas off of the line. You run a delay trap, and again, another loss of 3 to 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 17. That's not the way to play winning football.
No, that's definitely not. And again, that's not where you want to live.
Not in your backfield.
Nope. The refs made a lot of bad calls against Tampa Bay. We talked about that.
Yes.
Carl says keeping the faith. Go Bucks. Absolutely go Bucks.
There you go.
Go Bucks.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucks. All right, that's all I got right now. Hi guys, how you doing?
Asleep. Sorry.
Injuries
Evening.
have been major. I think it's overlooked, to be honest. Yeah, it's definitely been a major
Winfield.
thing
We
this
missed
year.
Winfield tonight. I
Missed
mean, we really
Winfield,
did.
You
I
missed
think
Jordan Whitehead all year long. Winfield Jr. hasn't been the same player even when he was healthy.
right.
But you would like to have 100%. Again, this is the National Football League. Guys got to step up.
But did you see how our secondary reacted to the way Dallas' secondary was banging and bombing us?
Yes.
Nobody could because they were too busy trying to find their asses from a hole in the ground. Winfield would not have put up with that.
No.
They didn't have Winfield coming downhill bringing the boom. They don't have Jordan Whitehead coming downhill bringing the boom. At the end of the day, Dallas, they outplayed us, but they played ferociously.
They played physical. They
Physical
played
football.
physical football,
It was a good game.
which was supposed to be the identity of this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. And like Bucks Basement said at the first of it, they got punched in the mouth. So
Yeah.
who needs to be fired? Whomever thinks it's smart to run zone 80% to 85% of the game. It's happened. We've seen that. Keep it in front of you, but it doesn't always work out to their best advantage. We saw that in the first half, and we saw it throughout the game. We saw it throughout the whole, and whether it's injuries, whether it's not wanting to blitzing too much because you put those guys on. I don't know what it is, but the zone is not.
I don't know. All I know is of their first 5 drives, other than when we gave it to them at midfield when we went for it on an unsuccessful 4th down, the other 4 drives were all field goals. If your defense is making the other team kick field goals and your offense can be half competent and score touchdowns, that tells me you're going to win the game every time. But that one touchdown we gave them to them midfield, momentum all in their favor early in the game. Everybody's still juiced. I mean, it's just these little decisions that you make along the way that maybe starts to make an argument for why Todd Bowles.
Joshua says new strength and conditioning coaches are a must. Again, injuries happen. Hamstring injuries have happened a lot this year. And I was talking to Leo about this. I was talking to some other people, and it's because the NFL players don't get that practice. They don't hit that much. They don't play the preseason, go through, the rigors of the National Football League like you used to do 10, 15 years. So there's definitely going to be more injuries coming up because of that.
And you tell me that doesn't make your interest in when you see a Nick Saban, but when you see a Bill Belichick go to North Carolina, there's no salary cap and there's no collective bargaining agreement.
Right.
That's literally like handing a live mice to a cat and saying, don't eat.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if Bill Belichick.
I think there are some rules there where you can't necessarily practice as much, but that's what it comes down to. Like, Yes, you want to preserve the body. Yes, you want to have safety when it comes to the National Football League. But when you're not getting those necessary reps like you do in years past, there's going to be some downside to that. And I think there's more injuries, especially with this Bucs team, as it has been snake bitten with hamstring and just
shoulder,
and the dislocated ankle, which is a terrible injury for Godwin.
Ouch.
Does this team want to win the division? Wow. Yeah, it's tough. Let's see here. I think I think the Squirrels are secretly planning a heist on all the bird feeders. I don't know what that means, but I don't care at this point. Earl is shaking his head.
Why is he having trouble finding these nuts?
Cameron. Very good.
It took me a minute.
Cameron eats meth. Let's go out to David Peter. I do have faith in Jason Light or Todd because look who they thought were good enough to be backups on our team. We were saying the same stuff last year. Our backups suck. They were turning around this season with our backups. But then with that being said, David, I understand that point. But look at how many rookie contributions you've had from this draft class.
Quite a few.
And a Bucky Irving, and a Jalen McMillan, and a Tyke Smith.
Yes.
I mean, who else? Graham Barton. Pretty good contribution. So, yes, you want to – there definitely could be some misses there with Jason Light. He's not perfect, especially at the middle linebacking situation. The edge rusher, I don't. There's not an answer there. JTS is not the answer. You figured that out. That's the reason why he didn't pick up his fifth-year option in the first place. So you can just move on from him and go in a different direction, either with Braswell or a veteran pass rusher. I would prefer a veteran pass rusher. In fact, I would double up. Get an edge rusher as a rookie, and then also go out and get a veteran.
Yeah.
To learn and get that young pass rusher to learn from a veteran.
Your interior of your defensive line is definitely the stronger part of that unit.
Yes. All right. So good stuff there, David. Appreciate the comment. As always, what if the refs called a fumble and not forward progress stopped? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Again, it filled the narrative.
Let's see here. Cam says Todd Bowles has no structure or discipline for the team. Agree with that.
Totally disagree.
Okay. All right. Good. I guess a good thought there, Cam. I don't necessarily agree.
I haven't seen this team. I haven't seen him lose this locker room. I haven't seen this team. I saw a team.
I didn't see this team get blown out.
Well,
I don't think they were getting blown out tonight.
Well,
I mean, they were losing, but they came back. They're still fighting.
And they believe their own press.
Right.
We went to L.A. We beat the Chargers. Look at us. Kiss our, bow at our feet.
Maybe.
And the Dallas Cowboys were like, wait a minute. We just got eliminated. Let's go punk these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. It's why they play the game. They get paid too.
And again, the announcers mentioned it. It seems like the players are playing for Mike McCarthy to show who?
To show Jared. Oh,
Yoda. The players must win for Mike McCarthy to keep his job. They must.
All right, Josh says the refs have been atrocious all year for almost every team. This team lost today because of players like Sterling and Rashad. That's a fair
point.
Early
on, that was hard.
Todd Bowles playing Madden, calling the same zone play that doesn't work all game. That's a good one. White got hit with a helmet-to-helmet. Did you see that? Helmet-to-helmet shot there with White? Maybe I missed that. Maybe I have to go back.
No, but I also saw the contact of Baker's helmet. Could have went that way. I mean, there was some contact upper body when he went down, and he was looking for a hit on that, and I saw it. But, the Cowboy came in quick and hard, so, I can see where maybe somebody missed it. I didn't think it was egregious.
Right. White needs to be traded after the season. Bucky's in on one back. I don't know why you want to. You're trying to trade. Like we're going
with the volume argument.
I mean, you're trying to trade somebody to give it to Irving. You got to have more than one running back in this league, and I get
100%.
it. He put the ball on the ground the last couple of weeks, but let's not deny what also he's done this season.
Well, he had a big
touchdowns.
Play there on that drive. If
Sure.
it wasn't for him fighting for that extra 3 yards and getting that first down, they may have been forced to punt, and we don't get that.
Todd Bowles will be behind a 7. I'm not reading your comments anymore. I'm sorry. A shame that Vea tackle was washed away from the loss. Absolutely, Jason. Bucs will finish the season strong to get a playoff seed. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes, I know. We got
2 minutes.
Yes, I know. We're gonna read the rest of these comments, and I promise.
Keep going. In.
I understand what you're saying, Peter. Go back and watch how many of our interior defensive linemen, even edge rushers, messed up tackle that Vita made tonight. Joshua Dietz, a forced fumble that was negated. Yes, I am 1,000% sure. Josh says he got strong arm for the touchdown. David, to me, I think that's what Todd sees. Vita tackling the guy and thinking, yes, it has worked the previous 30 times this game. but the one time I'm going to keep running it every way, laugh out loud. The Bucs have never won a night game this season. McMillan had it and crossed the plane of the end zone. I thought he did too. Didn't you?
I mean, but that's when we're talking about where they both fought for possession of the ball and came over.
Yes.
He came down with it. The guy's hand just happened to scoop right around with it, and he came straight up, and the referee just was like, I literally didn't. It was a tie goes to the runner. I wish that ball would have hit the ground, and the point would be moot.
Yes.
He came up with the ball real quick. And
All
in fact, they called it that way. They could not have overturned it even if the evidence would have showed it. It didn't.
Jason says, look at the rest of the season. Agree, 2 games left. David, but we didn't say the same thing about Dave Canales last year. First-time signal caller. Nobody's going to take him as a head coach.
Well, again, losing Liam, it's not the biggest priority. Who's going to be that outside rusher? Where are we going to draft? Are we going to?
It's a loss, though. Losing Cohen definitely would be a loss. But again, to assume that he's just going to go to the first job because he wants to be a head coach, I get that.
Yeah.
The temptation is there, but also it has to be the perfect situation. And we don't know sitting here right now if they have talked. And that will be evaluated. And again, it depends on what you do the next couple games and how this season plays out. Because if Atlanta wins and you win, still Atlanta controls. So you're going down to the last week, which may happen, and you're putting your destiny not only on your own hands, but you're putting in Atlanta's hands to lose. And if you lose out, then there's going to be some conversations, in the back there.
Those conversations before week 1. So yeah, let them come.
All right. Jason says we will finish great. Christopher Cole, Baker is Cousins. Prime time 0-9 now. Wow, I didn't know that. And look what he's doing with the Panthers now, playing hard and improving. He looks like a madman going for it fourth when the ball goes to Sterling and not Mike. Again, for me, who's calling those plays? That's Liam Cohen. Why is Mike Evans not involved more? Why does it take until late in the fourth quarter to get Mike Evans the ball? I get it. Dallas is trying to bracket coverage, which we heard from Big Game James, but you got to find a way to scheme. That is on your offensive coordinator.
And that's what a Hall of Fame wide receiver does. A Hall of Fame wide receiver. I know I'm saying Mike's not,
right.
But yeah, let him run that first move post and everything. Don't be intimidated by what they do. But this Buccaneers team was intimidated tonight by everything that Dallas did.
Really were. It's a Bucs life. Hang in there, Jason.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Take the sack. We only needed 37 yards to win. Evans needs to see the ball more than once in the second half. Yeah. It's not going to. The double team Mike Evans the whole game. We kept leaving people one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb, who called a better defense. Mike says we better slaughter Panthers and the Saints. It's time for a closed-door meeting, which, again, you may be having those meetings with Liam Cohen. We don't know what is going. Bucs are terrible, says Cam. Once again, what a comment there. Cam Decker, Bucs for life.
Bucs for life.
Greg Cole says Baker's effort wasted, dropped passes, dropped interceptions, letting the balls be taken out of your hand, missed calls, being careless with the ball. Not the coach cost this game. And as much as I like Cohen, where was Bucky at the end of the game? Now, just go and win the last 2. Do that with the loss by the Falcons to Washington, and we win the division. Let's go! I don't know what this is. Put the Bucs in the Rams division. I don't know why you're saying that. I like listening to our opponents' fan base and radio stations to see what they say about our team. And every team for the last 2 years say they can't wait to play Todd Zone Bulls because they know they got 5-yard slants every play. Is that fair?
Yeah, because it's a bend but don't break defense. It's what they do. They don't give up the big, the big 50, 80, 90 or a big wheel route, and they keep it in front
Besides
of them.
when wide receivers push off, clearly.
Yeah, and besides when our offense doesn't stop itself and or get stopped by the other defense, suddenly that's exposed as much as a back secondary because of no pressure up front. So.
Jason says, welcome to the Decker. Does the defense ever get interceptions? I feel like everyone in the secondary has never caught a ball in their life.
Jamel intercepted.
He did intercept Herbert last week,
but
Russell had the opportunity to get the interception after, of course, the Bucs turn over the ball at that point. Which is it looked like a touchdown by McMillan taken away, and then Cooper Rush nearly gives it back.
Oh, first play. I mean, he tried
it's
to
right
dive
there
for
in his bread basket, and he doesn't catch it.
It's the hardest one to catch, right there, off your chest.
But it's good. It's a good point, Joshua. Do they ever get any interceptions? Todd Bowles wants those interceptions and turnovers, and that's what you're missing with Antoine Winfield to a certain degree, being a playmaker and getting those turnovers and causing those turnovers. And a Jordan Whitehead, you don't have that right now. You have guys, you have just guys have done okay. Tyke Smith, you flashed a little bit tonight, but you don't see it. It's the same story. Bucs story. Backup a rookie quarterback destroys the Bucs. Baker, big turnovers tonight. Anyone want some? A forecast report. It's cold as hell out here. I'm about to freeze my ass off. So we're gonna wrap this show up. Tampons played pathetic all season. Donnie, I don't know what you're watching at this point. Okay. Evans wasn't the same after he got hit hard. He definitely took a shot.
He got checked up.
Yeah, he definitely did. Bobby says Bucs are not making the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Dave says it was the middle open all night long. It looked like the Falcons game all over again. Yeah, that was.
How many more comments do you have?
This was a sloppy game. Donnie, they have an easier schedule remaining. Seminole boy, hold on to Cohen. Get rid of Bulls if required.
Seminole boy.
Nice. Atlanta isn't losing. We'll see. People forget Mike Allstott used to fumble a lot trying to get extra yards. We need some proven talent now. Falcons lose at Washington. Agree, Danny. Godwin is the man. David, after all these years, can we finally admit that Jason Light cannot draft pass rushers? Vita Vea was one of those guys.
Well, I was thinking exterior, but interior 100%. Vita Vea,
So not,
I want to say yes.
Not.
Okay.
It's not.
How about no?
It's not worked out too well when it comes. I like Yaya Diaby. I do, but he doesn't win enough. I don't see enough. Whether he's healthy or not, I don't see enough. I see Kalijah Cansey. Cansey, Diaby. Got to stay freaking healthy.
Yeah, your best ability is your availability.
We need to promote Cohen, says Seminole boy. Danny, really don't matter. Winner of the division gets blasted. Really? Because everybody was saying that last year. Winner of this division gets blasted.
But we blasted the Eagles in the playoffs, and we gave the Lions a run to the end.
But they get blasted because anybody who wins this division, it's garbage. Nobody remembers when the Saints and the Seahawks, anybody was complaining and crying about the Seahawks having a home game. And what did they do? Stomp all over the Saints at that point.
And by the way, if you go down the street right here, make a left to go in the tunnel that goes across Tropicana Field, you can get blasted for $20.
There you go. Get blasted right there. There you go. Officials were horrible tonight. What's new? Water's wet. Jameis Winston throws interceptions, and the refs are horrible. Sorry.
That was a good comment.
I agree on needs, guys. Edge, middle linebacker, corner. We cannot let Cohen out of the building. Seminole boy. They scored 23 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Only 3 points in the second half. Yes, Falcons are beating Washington. Washington probably will sit players. They're not winning the division. Will get the 5th seed.
Yeah, but they can. Well, we'll see. I think that Washington can actually move up to 4th seed, or it might behoove them to stay and move down even. So
I think there's still some things to play for. We'll see. Playing in Dallas, I think you know how it's going. A-Train used to blow games wide open, run over people consistently. We aren't comparing to White because it's not even close. So hold the MF ball. John Gonzalez, Bucs got robbed. That was like a playoff game on both sides. Officials are horrible. Danny says, John Gonzalez, hello, sir.
Yeah, sports authorities, John Gonzalez. Yes, sir.
Okay, nice.
Yes, thank you.
Seminole boy, Bucky is great for the run, but pass blocking a no-go. This is the reason why I think he's in. White is in for that situation.
Yes.
How is that new stadium coming along across the street? We'll see, because it looks like it's going to get approved, although the Rays are once again looking for more money.
Man, if they look down that gift horse's mouth any further, Stu's going to be looking to sell this team, and they're not going to be here.
I hate him as an owner. I really do. I know we get into. I just hate him.
We don't get into nothing. I've never disagreed with you. I've just tried to say, the reason why maybe he made some of the decisions he's made. But
the edge,
jump Jeffrey in the edge.
You need to do like Stu Sturmer with the Yoda. Do the Yoda voice with Stu.
Let's cut Jeffrey Springs and take the salary down to $60 million and complain about the cost of the stadium. I will.
That's great. I just never get old. Also, was a Bucs legend, Ring of Honor. White will never be a Bucs legend. God, it's freaking cold out here.
You're cute. Like he's reading these comments.
What was I getting about Alsta? He's fixed his mumbling problem.
It's 72 degrees. I'm freezing.
It's not 72 degrees. You're an idiot. I promise you lose into Atlanta. Both games is gone. Gonna bite this team right in the ass.
They said
Danny 8-7 team. Enough said. Pathetic. A pathetic 8-7 team. Pathetic.
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 Why can't they be 3-13 like the
Donnie,
Chicago
how long
Bears?
have you been a Bucs fan for? You think 8-7 is pathetic?
8-7 would have gotten parades for 20 years in Tampa Bay.
You run down to the parade of the Edge District here.
It would have been a boat coming right down here.
Yes.
Row, row, row the boat.
Remember
right
when they were like
through the edge.
3-13 or
2-14
pathetic.
was their
You
mantra.
want to be the Raiders? You want to be the Giants? That's pathetic. 8-7's not pathetic.
Plus they got Davis.
It's average. It's mediocre to a certain degree, but it's not pathetic.
Pathetic's a bit. It's a bit up.
A bit. All right, don't take the Panthers for granted. Of course not. Bulls sucks, says Jamie. Jamie is a big-time Todd Bowles fan. Bring your passion, but what the buck? Yeah, I agree with that, Jay.
Oh, yeah.
Bowles is a joke, says Danny. By the way, saying 8-7 is pathetic.
Pathetic. Pathetic.
I want to know something, Danny. When did you become a Bucs fan? Let me know. Call the phone lines because nobody's calling right now.
2020.
It's complete ghost town at this point.
Is pathetic.
Of course, it's 1:30. You know what's pathetic?
I'm so freaking tired.
I'm tired of this too. All right, we'll read the rest and then we'll get the hell out.
Go,
Bucs
go,
defense
go.
is trash, like 27th against the pass. Yeah, Keith, Bulls got out-coached, period.
Yeah, he did.
David, I think once again we got out-coached. That's a fair point. Keith, correct. Bobby, hire Ben Johnson. Oh, yes, please. Put some cheerleaders in the intro, please. We tried to do that. There's some cheerleaders, but
but they complained. They said my pom-poms were the wrong color and they didn't like my half shirt.
We got plenty of women that came by here tonight.
Oh,
right? We got to play that reel. That's good. Embarrassing. We let Cooper Rush shred us. Tim says losing both Atlanta games is going to bite us, this team in the ass. Can you imagine what we're going to have to listen to all off season if Atlanta wins the division? We'll see. Yes, but you're going to have to listen to it if they do win out. Bucs are 0-6 when the other team scores first.
Yes.
Good, Christopher Cole. Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby, Danny says, Bobby, exactly in Dallas where the Cowboys now have 2 wins. Pathetic. Keep Bulls and stay mediocre. Todd Bowles scheme. Well, you just said pathetic. Now he's saying mediocre.
Okay,
Danny, so Danny's coming.
He's coming. He's
what's
coming
next here?
We're gonna get
Dreadful, abominable. What kind of other adjectives can you use here?
Slightly
at 1:30
below
at night?
average.
Yes, and I think TJ Reeves, if he were watching this right now, would be shaking his head. What the hell are you guys doing there?
TJ's like he is watching this.
He's probably sleeping.
He's waiting for the flight at Dallas International Airport.
Probably
he's
is.
like, these guys are a couple of idiots.
What are we doing? There's nobody here.
Look at you.
Todd Bowles.
What the heck?
Doesn't
There's
work.
4,000 people
I mean,
watching.
Bucs, if
Come
you're
on.
not watching this, if you have not watched our coverage tonight, I don't know what you're watching.
It's
By
the
the way,
holiday season.
It is the holiday
enjoy.
season.
Let loose. Have a little fun. Stay up.
Have
tonight.
some eggnog. Not too much for some of you people. Calling the Bucs pathetic at 8-7. Pathetic. Pathetic is 2 or 3 wins, 4 wins a season.
Only 3
That's
division titles in
pathetic.
5 years.
Oh my God! They won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. People forget that. You won a couple division titles, 3 division titles in a row, possibly a 4th if you take care of your business. And Atlanta loses.
But you know what?
It's pathetic though. Worst division in football.
2-15. Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Tom Brady cap hell. We'll just wait for the national media to give us our narrative for 2025, regardless of how 2024 ends, because they seem to think we actually give a crap. What they're saying.
We do.
Don't know what they're saying.
Todd Bowles' scheme doesn't work. He'll still be in New York. He had excellent players on defense. Couldn't get it done.
There's a little bit of a fact going on in there too.
Wasn't it a 58-yard field goal by Cowgirls? Damn, yes, 2 of them. 2 of his field goals. David says, but during the time of Lovie Smith and Dirt Cutter. He said not Dirk.
Dirk. Dirk Diggler. You were thinking that, right?
He said
Dirk Diggler.
D-I-R-T. Dirts.
Dirk Diggler.
We've had terrible defense.
Joe
we
Dirt.
Found nobody, I guess, like now. Like I said earlier, listen to other teams. They can't wait to play our defense. They don't want to play our offense. We got screwed, says James.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, James. He was on the ground before the ball was ran back for a touchdown. What are you talking about?
Man, was he watching?
I don't think it was
he ran down the field.
Horrible game, says Nicky Bug. Yeet.
Oh, yeah.
Abominable.
Yeah, abominable. Pathetic. The Bucs are pathetic. 8-7. Pathetic. We deserve 13-1 all the time.
If they had a losing record, someone must die.
Don't fire Todd. Happy holidays, Bucs forever.
Yeah.
Danny says so. 8 times it doesn't fire anyone. 7 times fire someone. Mediocrity is what Tampered is saying in the dictionary. What does that mean?
Mediocrity.
I don't know what he's saying. They're mediocre? They're pathetic. So which one is it? Are they pathetic or are they mediocre? Because pathetic is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pathetic is the Raiders.
Yes, pathetic is the Chicago Bears, but although Caleb's a guy.
Yeah.
But the way they're
Sit
playing,
White, start Bucky and Tucker. Tucker's also had problems with catching up on the playbook, pass protection, and also putting the ball on the ground. Not having 2 days or more live action at practice is the reason why we see more injuries throughout the league.
Yes.
Correct, David. There you go. All right, Danny says we have more injuries because the guys are bigger, stronger than 15 years ago, but also they're not getting the reps.
I'm gonna start breaking this.
I'm sorry, but since Bruce Arians left, we haven't had any passion or any excitement. Well, we have plenty of nonsense.
Oh
wow, that was a good day.
That was a deep.
The primetime curse, WTF, the Marine himself. Thank you very much for your service.
Yes.
Thanks, Rashad White, as well as a lot of Bucs fans want to put Cole in his stocking or hope that he has Cole in his stocking for that fumble tonight. Known the rule, maintain possession of the ball all the way through. He didn't maintain possession.
And there you go.
Yep.
And he came up with the ball. They called it on the field that it was a.
We're almost done here. I promise.
Yeah.
Ed's calling in.
I got it. Just now. Ed Kirby.
We're talking to Ed Gross.
Ed. This is
Ed from the East Coast. Mr. Ed, welcome to the Evolution. Yoda, give him something.
Ed, talk about the Buccaneers, you must.
That's it. He's like, I called the wrong show. Ed, how are you tonight?
Hey guys.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
He's very depressed. Go ahead.
You're depressed.
I'm very depressed at what I saw tonight.
It was disappointing, my friend. Yes. Depression.
I don't even know.
I don't know about depression, dude.
Well, the chances of the Bucs making the playoffs now just went down.
Well, they did. They definitely went down. Yeah.
Below
So
50%.
look at that Leo word right there, Yoda.
Exponentially is the word I must use.
I got nothing, Ed. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Right.
I think it's like 40% chance of them making the playoffs. That's not good.
Well, it's definitely tough, and it's going to be tough now because it's going to be in the hands of the Falcons.
Well,
of course, the Bucs have to take care of their business, but you look at the schedule. You felt like, you know what, Washington has an opportunity to beat this Atlanta team with a rookie quarterback. So,
well, Washington beat Philadelphia today.
Right.
At Philadelphia.
Right.
And now the Falcons have to go into Washington and beat Washington at their place. And we have 2 games against the Saints and the Panthers. So when they say that our chances went from 87.6543% according to Mirage odds, the lines they're taking, down to 40%. I'm like, you're saying that we have a less chance to beat the Panthers or the Saints than the Falcons do to go in and beat Rookie of the Year and Jaden Daniels. I mean, let's not get too hung up on the statistics. At the end of the day, the Falcons have to lose. The Bucs have to win the next 2.
That's it. That's what it comes down to, Ed. So there's nothing to be depressed about. I got to read this. I got to read one of these comments here because I think it's comical how somebody's calling us homers. We've been here all freaking day giving you coverage. Our homer asses have been giving you the coverage.
Yes.
And you're going to call us homers, and you're going to sit here and say 8-7 is pathetic. 8-7. You don't know what pathetic is. Okay? Seriously, you don't. It's 1:35 in the morning, and you definitely don't know what pathetic is. I can go back in 10, 15 years and show you what's some pathetic Bucs football. If you think 8-7, Danny, is pathetic.
17?
Pathetic.
0-17,
football.
yes, Ed.
That's not pathetic football. It's not the greatest football, but it's not pathetic. Okay? I wish you were a Jaguar fan right now. I wish you were a freaking Raider fan right now. I wish you were a Giants fan right now. I wish you were a Jets fan right now if you think this is pathetic, my friend. All right. Now you pissed me off, and I feel like a frozen ice cube. So go ahead and warm it up.
Let's go. Go ahead, Ed.
Pathetic is 0-17, following up by only a 1 win.
Huh.
The following
Yes.
year.
Yes. Right, exactly. And he's now saying you made it entertaining. Like, I don't know where this guy's coming from. Like, I think you're just trying to.
Ed, I love you. I'm going to start breaking this system
Ed,
down.
We'll let you go, man. We appreciate you. I'm going to read the rest of these comments, and then I'm going to get out. Everybody remember, anything can happen. Bill Belichick is the head coach at North Carolina. Bobby Raines, Bucs will lose to the Panthers. Come on back here. Let's go ahead and amazing. You have homers, and then you have homers. This show was very disappointing tonight. Yeah, because we told you what we thought, and you thought that, again, 8-7 was pathetic.
Who said that?
Danny Fuller.
Guess what Danny Fuller just did? He found the complete route to these nuts.
Okay.
That's what you found right there.
You and Cam Decker can be squirrels. Never mind. You guys keep it real. It's okay. So he was messing around.
I'm just messing around with him.
The Yoda voice is priceless tonight. Love it. Thank you. Put a jacket on. We got one on. Peter Report was on like 30 minutes ago. I don't know if they're still live. Probably not. You both made tonight's loss entertaining. If that's a possibility, only two could get us through this. So thank you both. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just saying, guys, I get it.
Keep it in perspective.
Yes. Thank you. And I get it. We're all prisoner of the moment. It's disappointing. It's heartbreaking. They had an opportunity to win some games this year. They were not able to do it. And now it's in Atlanta's hands. This was a tough fought loss. I don't know if I blame this loss on White fumbling the ball more than Bland making a hell of a play. I think Washington wins next week. We beat Carolina. I'm back in the driver's seat. This was one of the best games for both teams playing I've seen in a while, and it may come down to that last week with the Saints and the Falcons there playing also, I believe, the Panthers. Come on, Peter. You and Ray know the biggest question tonight is what you have for dinner. Absolutely, of course. What do we have for dinner? Because I got some leftovers from a couple hours ago, so I'll have that
Heat them up
in a couple hours.
Alexander's going to want some of that.
When I get yelled at by
an hour.
when I get yelled at by Gertrude and Esther. I love you, Danny. I love all your Bucs fans because you don't yell at me, at least.
Yes.
I get yelled at by somebody that's 185 years old, and I'll have to ask him what was Prohibition like or what was World War I like.
Are you from the past?
I'm telling you, they were. They seem like it. They're 185 years old. I'm getting ready for it. It's going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning after I get the meeting.
All right.
And 15 minutes in, I'm going to be like, God, I wish I could
Pete.
shoot myself at this point.
Finish it.
Peter Ray, great show again tonight.
Oh, brother.
Final thoughts, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy.
Just keep it all in perspective. Celebrate the holidays. Enjoy it. The journey, not just the destination. It's going to be fun. Let's enjoy these next 2 weeks. Win, lose, or draw. We still got 2 good games to go. They're both at home, and they're both divisional games. Let's get jiggy with it.
Well, let's get jiggy with it there, Will Smith. And see you tomorrow night. Thanks for getting us through it tonight. Absolutely, man. We appreciate you as always. Final thoughts of the night. The Bucs season is definitely took a hit with the loss to the Dallas Cowboys in heartbreaking fashion, 26-24. They fought. They lose to a Cowboy team. Now Atlanta has full control of the NFC South. They play the Washington Commanders. Of course, the Bucs next week play Dave Canales and the Carolina Panthers. We got you covered at What the Buck tailgate before the game, and of course after the game with the JP Peterson show on the field. Hopefully that is victory, guys. Merry Christmas to you. We'll be live tomorrow night on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. The Marine says happy holidays, Pete and Ray.
Happy holiday, Ron.
And blessings, absolutely blessings
Brother,
to
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Yes. So again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Of course, watch the JP Peterson show coming up here in a couple hours from 10 to 12. Most Tampa Bay local centric content out there.
You know what the best part
and
of
he
this-
was on Good Morning Football the other day, JP Peterson.
Yes, they ran the comment that you
Yes.
made in there. Yes, and I'll tell you what, the best part of this loss, if there's a silver lining, is we're probably not going to have any Ray Stadium talk tomorrow. So tune into the JP Peterson show from 10 to 12.
Great stuff for the great Tampa Bay Ray, best of the Bay. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Bucs fall 26-24 to the Cowboys to fall to 8-7. Now we'll see what happens here in the next 2 games. But now Atlanta controls their own destiny. 3 things. You know them, you love them. You got to have them even out here as I'm freezing like a friggin' ice cube. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, especially you Bucs fans, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a good night. And as always,
Go Bucs.
go Bucs.